How do you beat the Cardinals? Well, it starts with Mike Leake. 8 innings of shutout baseball in St. Louis. Anthony DeSclafani chips in with 7 innings of shutout baseball. And how about some hitting to go along with it? The red-hot Joey Votto, a 3-run home run. And guess who joined the 200 home run club? He's one away. Jay Bruce with number 199 for his career. Pitching and hitting. And what did the Reds get out of it? They get to celebrate in St. Louis, taking a series for the first time since 2011. They try to keep it rolling today against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hi, hello, and welcome to Cincinnati, everyone. Along with the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley and Jim Day, I'm George Grand. Well, for the first time in a long time, Cowboy, the Reds had a nice flight home from St. Louis.
You know, George, you go in to St. Louis, and you always seem like it feels like a stress to get to where you need to go. 2 shutout ball games back-to-back, that's awfully nice.
It made for a nice flight home, and for the Reds, they try to keep it rolling against a Bucco team that, hey, a month ago, they were 9 games back of the Cardinals. They're alive now.
They really are, George, and if you talk to the Pirates, these guys still believe, hey, we're not just in it for the wild card. We want to win this division. We want to catch and pass the Cardinals. That tells you the competitive spirit these Pirates are rolling out there.
11 series sweeps. That's more than anyone else in Major League Baseball. They've done it with pitching, and the Reds hope to get a boost from their pitching. David Holmberg gets the ball.
Yeah, Holmberg threw the ball awfully well for the Reds last year in September. 5 outings, had a 1.82 ERA, and that's the guy they expect to step up here today against A.J. Burnett, who's had a couple of rough starts to begin the second half.
The veteran A.J. Burnett against David Holmberg, who finished strong last year. Coming up, Jay Bruce has been strong of late. Can he join the 200 home run club? JD will have that story and more on Fox Sports Ohio.
Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. By Chevy. Check out their award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealer. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time.
It's going to be an awesome night for the Reds game tonight. Temperatures will be around 84 by 7 o'clock. We're going to be sunny, pretty warm to start, but by the middle of the game, we will be very comfortable. Temperatures will be falling very slowly through the 70s to start, and we'll be ending up around 72 by 11 o'clock with clear skies, quiet weather, and we are going to see a pretty nice night on tap. So make sure you enjoy it, and let's go Reds.
Clear and quiet. We like that. I'm Jim Day on the field, and we chase down Todd Frazier's 100th career home run ball in Denver. Could we be doing the same thing tonight, because Jay Bruce is sitting close to a milestone? In fact, it would be back-to-back milestones for Jay Bruce. Let's take you back to last night. Busch Stadium in St. Louis against Jaime Garcia. Career home run number 199 for Jay Bruce, and it proved to be the difference in the game in a 1-0 victory and helped the Reds taking 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals. Our IGS bringing the energy, and Bruce has been bringing it. He is now in sole possession of 9th on the all-time Reds home run list, bettering Barry Larkin, so 9th all alone. Next on the list, Eric Davis, 203 career home runs, and everyone chasing JB, Johnny Bench, the leader with 389 career home runs. Could Bruce get number 200? We'll find out. And the season debut for David Holmberg. Up next, lineups and first pitch. George and the Cowboy are next.
Park, and we're just about ready to get rolling as the humidity's left town after the heavy rains yesterday. And happy birthday to the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, Clint Hurdle, turning 58 today. Before the game, saying, where else would I rather be on my birthday than at a ballpark? Let's check the starting lineup for Hurdle and the Pittsburgh Pirates, who come in closing in on the Cardinals, only 4.5 games back in the Central. Gregory Polanco will be in the leadoff spot. He's been on base 18 of 19. Starling Marte continues his hot hitting. He's up to 290. Andrew McCutchen. Remember when the year started and he was in a big slump? Well, guess what? He's right about at the 300 mark again. Aramis Ramirez picked up last week, back where it all started for him in a Pittsburgh uniform. Gung will bat in the number 5 spot. Cervelli hits 6th. Pedro Alvarez will hit 7th. Neil Walker, for the first time in his career, hits in the 8th spot, and A.J. Burnett hits in the number 9 position. That is your Pittsburgh Pirate batting order. And on the mound, Cowboy for the Reds, a guy who really showed us a lot in September, and he's getting a chance to do it again here in July. David Holmberg.
Yeah, the numbers in AAA are not going to blow you away. The 7-6 record and the 4.4 ERA. But in his last 5 decisions, he won 4 of those, and with a 3.19 ERA. The key for Holmberg here tonight, obviously, is throwing strikes. But for him, it's even more important, especially early in the ball game. If he can establish that fastball and change up early, seems like he gets some confidence and rolls right on along.
23-year-old Holmberg, born in Houston, now lives in Florida in the Port Charlotte area, 6'3", 243. And we remember when he came over, Cowboy, and the talk was this guy might battle for a starting spot in the rotation last year. He was overweight when he came to camp. You look at him now, he looks a lot better. Here's a bunt, charging, but nothing to do with it with Ivan De Jesus. It'll be a base hit for Polanco. So Polanco starts things off the way the Pirates have been doing it of late. There's Nick Leyva, the third base coach for this Buccos team. Picture perfect against the left-hander.
Yeah, I think that Clint Hurdle has really tried to embed in the mind of Gregory Polanco. In the leadoff spot, we don't care how you get on, just get on.
Pirates team playing some of its best baseball, heading towards the postseason again. 4.5 back of the Cardinals in the Central. Here's Starling Marte in at 290, 13 homers and 53 knocked in. For the Reds with Holmberg on the mound, it's Tucker Barnhart behind the plate. As Marte steps out, takes a look at the signs roll through from the third base coaching box. Joe West behind home plate. He's your home plate umpire. Kerwin Danley at first. I'm Drake at second, and DJ Rayburn is your third base umpire. Were you impressed by Holmberg, what you saw in September of last year?
I was. And not only impressed, I was very surprised. But he was pitching. He wasn't trying to overpower anybody. Used a lot of changeups. Had the curveball for a strike. That's what he'll have to do here tonight. I think the biggest thing for David Holmberg, George, is inducing weak contact. He's not a strikeout pitcher. You can look at the numbers from his minor leagues all the way up until now. Even in September when he was pitching his best baseball. He's not a strikeout guy. What he does do, though, is he gets you the ground balls. He keeps the ball in the ballpark, and he keeps guys off balance when he's at his best.
That 2-1 mark in the month of September, one of the reasons why he's getting a shot here. Ryan Price, his former pitching coach and now the manager, saying he impressed us in September and we thought he deserved a chance, especially with the Johnny Cueto exit.
Well, the key with any young pitcher right now, especially with the way Reds are making moves, you got those 3 strong left-handers coming over from the Royals. Starting spots may be few and far between here pretty soon.
2 of those 3 are now down at AAA Louisville under the tutelage of Teddy Power, and Holmberg will credit Power for a lot of his maturation this year. Good speed in the leadoff spot. Polanco inches off the bag with Votto holding him on. Runner not going. That's down and in. So we'll go full 3 balls and 2 strikes. We'll see if they'll send Polanco on the 3-2 here with no one out in the first. Throw strikes and stay down. That's the mantra for Holmberg on this night. High in the air to left center field, peering right into that sun is Bird. Marlin will haul it in, and there's your first out. Let's check your forward defensive alignment for the Reds. A little bit of a different look in the outfield, pretty much as normal. Bird's in left, Hamilton in center, Bruce is in right. De Jesus will get the start at third. Suarez and Phillips your double play combo, and Votto down at first, and Barnhart catching Holmberg. These 2 hooked up a lot last year down at AAA. Here's McCutchen.
Immediately when you see that screen, folks are asking, where's Frazier? What? You're just getting a day off. No big deal.
And really still kind of a hangover from all the festivities of the All-Star game. I mean, he was mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted. He got one day off, but that takes its toll.
As exciting as it can be and as rewarding as it can be personally, those 4 All-Star games, when the 4 All-Star days, when you make the team, they will beat you up,
especially in your home park.
Exactly.
And
he won the home run derby, for goodness sake.
He was the star of the show, the star of the city. Behind again, 1 ball, no strikes to McCutchen. When this year started, everyone wondered what was wrong with Kutch. Well, he's right where you expect him to be this time of year, Cowboy.
He really is, George. He just continues to stay consistent with his swing and make small adjustments. We've seen that with Joey Votto, and we're seeing it with McCutchen. These guys can hit.
In the dirt, Holmberg behind 2-1.
George, I look at Andrew McCutchen, and you stand next to him, and he's not a monster of a guy, but yet he creates a tremendous amount of power with his hips and his hands. You make a mistake, he kills it.
Runner not going. This one hit the center field pretty good, but it'll stay in the park. Hamilton hauls it in. There's your second out. Fly ball to left, fly ball to center, and here's Aramis Ramirez. Hard to believe he's back where it all started, and now in the Reds front office. Cam Bonifay, the former general manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, back when Aramis Ramirez first came up, and you kind of liken him to Pedro Alvarez. They struggled earlier in their career, and Cam Bonifay said, give this guy time, he's going to have a great major league career. I guess Cam was right in the end, huh?
Yeah, he is. Ramirez has been one of the better clutch hitters I've seen in my time.
And against the Reds, he's always been trouble. Nearly 300 hitter for his career at 297, and 37 home runs against the Reds in his career. Added last week.
And George, he wasn't just a good RBI guy. He was a good 2-strike hitter because he would shorten up the swing and take the ball the other way. It's tough to pitch to.
I mean, look at those numbers. They're pretty impressive for a career. I mean, you're not saying this guy is a Hall of Famer, but he's certainly borderline Hall of Famer when you look at those numbers. He has indicated this will be his final year. Ironically, Ramirez, and we just left Colorado. Or LaTroy Hawkins has also said this will be his final year. 2 guys who end up getting traded in the same week, thinking they were going to just kind of quietly roll things out. 2 balls, 1 strike to Aramis with Gung on deck. Pirates have had their share of injuries. You know about Josh Harrison, the Cincinnati native who injured his thumb. He is back with the club and getting close to going out on a rehab assignment. The shortstop Jordy Mercer also gone, but Clint Hurdle's team hasn't missed a beat. 2-1. See if Polanco will be going. He's not. This one hit on the button to center field. Closing on it is Hamilton, and he hauls it in. Dangerous territory. 3 fly balls at Great American Ballpark, but Holmberg dodges the bullet. George Grant, the Cowboy Jeff Brantley, Jim Day bringing you Reds baseball. Let's check the Myers starting lineup for Brian Price and the Reds, who come in after taking 2 of 3 from the Cardinals in St. Louis. Brandon Phillips, trying to end a 2-game hitless streak, will be in the leadoff spot with Frazier off today. Ivan De Jesus Jr. will play third, bat second. Joey Votto, talk about otherworldly. Votto has been exactly that. He hits third. Bird behind him. Bruce, 1 home run away from 200 for his career. And Eugenio Suarez, now over 300 for the season, is your shortstop. Barnhart, Holmberg, and Hamilton. That's 1 through 9 for the Reds. And on the mound, the veteran right-hander, now 38 years of age, A.J. Burnett.
You look at Burnett, George, and he was here for the All-Star game. And sometimes when pitchers don't get a chance to stay in their routine, they tend to lose it a little bit. And it looks like that's kind of where you're seeing Burnett headed in his last 2 starts after the break. And we talked about Todd Frazier and all of the excitement and all the things that went into his experience. Well, Burnett did not pitch. And when you don't stay on schedule, especially for an older starter, and Burnett would qualify there, things don't quite smooth out after the break.
Most pitchers are creatures of habit, but I mean, you weren't blessed with the ability to do that because you really maintain almost every role on a pitching staff. You were a closer, a setup guy, a starter. Mentally, how do you prepare for that?
You know, I think the biggest thing is just to stay in a routine, and whether you're a middle guy, a mop-up guy, you have to figure out some way to keep yourself in a routine so that you're prepared for each and every day.
Bouncer down to short. Gung has it, and across to Alvarez. There's 1 away. Here's your 4 defensive alignment for the Buccos. Great speed in the outfield. Marte in left, McCutcheon in center, Polanco in right. Ramirez, as you would expect him to be, down at third. Gung is in there for Mercer, who's out with an injured knee. Walker, the Silver Bat winner at second base last year in the National League, and Alvarez, who's been moved from third to first this year, with Cervelli behind the plate, catching Burnett. Here's Ivan De Jesus with 1 away in at 263, 3 homers, 12 knocked in. Now you wonder how your scouting is, and I think the Pirates have been very pleased with Cervelli behind the plate. They got him from the Yankees, and for years you heard that this guy could be a starting catcher, could be a leader on a club, and he's not Martin. I mean, Russell Martin was really maybe the leader on this club, but he's filled in very well.
Not only has he done the job behind the plate, but he's hitting the baseball as well as he has all year right now.
1-1 to De Jesus. You change leagues, come to the National League, it's like starting all over again in some respects. And from what Clint Hurdle said and the coaching staff said, from day one when the deal was made, he started to study hitters and study his pitchers. 2-1. We put a team together. I guess there's probably no more important cog in that whole big picture than your catcher.
I agree. I mean, you have a dual responsibility, not only to take care of the guys on the mound and try to make sure they're comfortable, but you got to take care of yourself as well.
I remember when you played, you used to call him the brain. The catcher was the brain. It's like the point guard on a basketball team. You run the show.
The Kurt Manwarings and the Ryan Hannigans of the world. You don't have to think a whole lot when they're behind the plate.
3-2.
Well, Burnett's velocity has diminished. He's throwing 87, 88 here to begin this ball game. Now that's fine as long as the ball's sinking, but he's up about mid-thigh right now.
Under 31 innings coming in, you wonder at 38 if it's catching up.
A lot of those pitches elevated now. Quite a few on the corners. He's staying out of the middle.
Full count 3-2. A rocket to right. That'll drop in front of Polanco. A base hit for Avon. He continues a pretty hot month of July. So the Reds have a run around with 1 out. And here's Joey. Have you seen anybody that's been as hot as Joey Votto has been in the last couple of weeks?
No, I don't think I've seen anyone as hot as Joey Votto in quite a few years, except Joey Votto.
You talked about the All-Star break. You know, Todd Frazier was the belle of the ball here. Joey went home, and all he did was make it clear that he wanted to make a statement when he came back, and boy, is he making a statement.
Done that.
Votto at 308, 19 homers, 51 knocked in. You look at every important offensive stat, and he's either 1 or 2 in those numbers since the All-Star break.
That 3-run home run that he hit off Jaime Garcia in St. Louis the other night, that was impressive. Dead center. Garcia about to get out of the inning, and Votto said, I don't think so.
That's going to sneak its way through on the right side. De Jesus will stop at second, and Joey continues to roll. He's hit safely in 11 of his last 14 games with that base hit. Another look, in case you missed it on Tuesday, a rocket shot.
Look at where this pitch is. Down and in, and he hits it out of dead center.
Ground ball through the right side, homer to center. And how about the ball he flipped down the left field line in St. Louis?
Pitcher's nightmare.
2 on, 1 out, and here's Marlon Byrd. Byrd at 240, 16 homers, 34 knocked in. A former Pittsburgh Pirate. And there, at one point, were some rumblings that he might be a Pirate again this year. And there's still talk that he might be dealt before the trading deadline or possibly next month. Very productive offensive player. Now we talk about the non-waiver trading deadline, which will end at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, but that doesn't preclude deals in the month of August. It just means you have to pass through waivers, and almost every general manager will put most of their team through waivers right after August the 1st comes. You're not going to pick everybody, so
flood the market.
Hopefully you sneak through a couple of guys you want to trade. Up and fouled away. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Sometimes that waiver wire can be a confusing process.
He's been around, hadn't he? Opening day center fielder for Philadelphia and for Washington. Texas for 3 years. And of course here in 2015 with the Reds. That's down and away. Eleven earned runs in the last 11 1/3 innings allowed by Burnett, and the Reds are on the threshold of breaking through again here. In the air to center field. McCutchen back. Warning track. Looking up. Going to be gone. Marlon Byrd, number 17, now 37 runs batted in, and the Reds continue the momentum that started in St. Louis. A 3-run first. They lead it 3-0. Good hitting pitch, 3-1, huh?
You get 3-1 and you just lay it out over the plate like that. That baby's going a long way. And Byrd knew it as soon as he hit it.
So did McCutchen.
Amen.
17 for Marlin. Here's Bruce. Burnett will have it and throw Jay out. That's the second out of the inning, as the Pirates overshifted against him. Big swing from Marlon Byrd after Votto's single and De Jesus' single, and the Reds off to an early 3-0 lead. How about you were on that plane coming back from St. Louis? It was a different feeling, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's awfully nice to see the guys get on the plane and enjoy winning a series, especially in St. Louis. It's got to make you feel good about yourself, give you a little bit of confidence. Now the key is to keep that going. You got a lot of young players on this ball club, especially in the pitching department.
Here's Suarez. Eugenio in at 305, 5 homers and 16 knocked in.
Well, I really love what I've seen from this kid.
Hit hard and through the hole. 4th hit of the inning. And already 24 pitches by Burnett here in the first. What do you like the most about his swing?
You know, it's not just the swing, it's the swagger. He exudes confidence when he comes to the plate. You can see it in his eyes. You can see it when he's in the field. And to me, mechanically, he does everything right at the plate. But that feeling of knowing that he's going to get a hit, that changes everything.
Loop down the third base line. Ramirez there to glove it, but the Reds send 7 to the plate. The big swing came from Marlon Byrd, a 3-run homer. Reds lead at 3-0. Canucks, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Storylines on this one. How many? Yes, how many rookie starts by the Reds this year? Add them up. Anthony DeSclafani at the top of the list with 20. All told, Cowboy, 48 total starts by rookies. That's the most in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I think you're seeing a major transition in this pitching staff. And really the only holdover that you're probably going to see would be Homer Bailey.
You know, when this year started, everyone knew that Johnny Cueto could be a free agent, Mike Leake could be a free agent, and the hope was, of course, that the Reds would be in the thick of the pennant race right now. And while you wish you were, the one good thing that the Reds have found out, the first 3 guys on that list, you find out that they can pitch at the major league level as you head into 2016.
Yeah, I think that's a huge key. And you still have to look at the innings and what guys can tolerate physically. And I think that's one of the reasons that you're seeing the Reds look for extra pitching as they did in Cueto's deal, because you've got to have that ability to churn through the season.
Young Ho Gung leads it off here in the second. He's hitting 5th, Cervelli 6th, and Alvarez in the 7th spot. He's played all over the infield for Clint Hurdle, and his coaching staff very impressed by this young man's first year in the major leagues. Difficult transition. You could be a major leaguer in any country, but to play in the major leagues here, What's impressed him more than anything is his instincts. They say he's got great baseball instincts. No balls, 2 strikes. Breaking ball misses, 1-2. Just missed on the breaking ball outside, but the fastball up and in. That's a call. 3rd strike looking. 1st strikeout for Holmberg.
One of those 2 had to be a strike. Either the curveball or the fastball.
He has good instincts, like they said. But he also had good instincts and not say a word to Joe West.
Yeah, amen.
Smart young man. The Cowboy in the booth, the Cowboy behind home plate umpiring tonight. 2 of you could put out a CD together, you know that.
I don't think that's happening. I'll leave that up to Joe.
Turn out the lights. Cervelli pops it to the right side. Bruce is there. He's got it 2 away. Do you have one of his CDs? He had to give you one.
He gave me one.
More than one, probably.
He gave me a few.
Have you ever listened to him? I don't think so.
I listened to the first little bit. Let's just put it that way.
Cowboy Joe West. 2 away. Here's Pedro Alvarez. 14 homers, 49 knocked in as he steps in. I mean, you don't play baseball at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We saw it with Willie Mopena, right? The home run balls that he would hit in batting practice every day. But if this guy ever gets it dialed in, what power Alvarez has. Scary power. One ball, 1 strike.
If you hit me 40 home runs a year and you hit 236, I can probably live with that.
In this day and age, yep. And he has 40 home run power. This hit a ton to right center field. Forget it. That's not number 40, but number 15 on the year. Oh, it's a 3-1 ball game as Alvarez gets the 2nd hit for the Buccos and 1st run of the night.
There's no doubt when Pedro Alvarez comes to the plate, this is what he's trying to do. And he did.
So Alvarez gets the Buccos on the board, and here's Neil Walker, the 2nd baseman, hitting in the 8th spot today. In at 273, 9 homers and 41 knocked in.
It's now 9 RBIs in his last 9 games for Alvarez.
Call that hot?
You know what's interesting, George, you and I were talking about it before the ball game began. You look at this lineup with Alvarez hitting 7th, Neil Walker hitting 8th. These were the guys that were hitting 3 and 4 for the Pirates for the longest time. Can you imagine Jay Bruce and Joey Votto hitting 7th and 8th? I don't think so. I can't even imagine that.
It's a lineup, if it ever starts clicking, and they've been hitting better of late. It gives trouble to everybody in the league. Hit hard down to short. Suarez gets Walker. But Alvarez a big swing, and it's a 3-1 ball game.
I'm Jim Day. This is Big Blue Night at the ballpark. That would be the University of Kentucky. And when you talk about the University of Kentucky, the first thing you do is talk about their men's basketball team, and well represented tonight. There you see all the interview throngs. And then the first pitch, Willie Cauley-Stein, who's off to Sacramento to be a King, and Karl Anthony Towns, the first pick by the Minnesota Timberwolves, took part with a couple of youngsters of the ceremonial first pitch. You look around the crowd and you do see some Big Blue representatives, some UK shirts in the crowd, and they were chanting CATS, Cats. They are well represented and very proud, obviously, of what that basketball team's accomplished last few seasons.
Hey, JD, you chimed in too. You're wearing your blue today. You look pretty dapper down there.
Well, thank you. It wasn't because of Big Blue Night. That was just by happenstance. But I did stand next to those guys, and I have covered the NBA before. But you just forget how big those dudes are. I mean, goodness gracious.
You're right. No, everyone, whether you're a basketball fan or not, at some point in time should sit courtside for an NBA game. It's like watching trailer trucks come through town, isn't it? Holmberg bounces out, one away. By the way, is that a new suit you're wearing?
Well, again, by happenstance, yes.
They're looking good.
Thank you.
Not only every day, but GQ as well. Good stuff, JD. Here's Billy Hamilton in at 226, 3 homers, 23 knocked in.
Yeah, I can still remember watching Shaq when he was at LSU and watching Barkley when he was at Auburn. They'd roll into town and you'd think, oh, where did these guys come from?
In the air, popped into center field. 2 away. And back to the top of the order, Brandon Phillips, who grounded out first time up. Joined us late. Singles by DeJesus and Votto in the first, and a homer by Marlon Byrd gave the Reds a 3-0 lead. 3-1 now after the Alvarez home run. After a rocky first, Burnett trying to get the wheels back on the track here in the second. Hop back and out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. That Mets game finally ended. It didn't look like it was ever going to end today, Cowboys. San Diego came back, beat the Mets 8-7 after rain delays in New York. And Washington beat Miami 1-0. I guess Jonathan Papelbon didn't miss a beat. Neither did Scherzer. Scherzer gets the win. Papelbon gets the save in his first appearance for the Washington Nationals. Help there? He'll help him, huh?
I think so. I mean, anytime that you can lengthen your bullpen, I mean, you move Drew Storen into the 8th spot, it can't help but strengthen your bullpen. As long as Paps does his job. I don't know that you can pitch any better than what Drew Storen's done. I'll be honest with you. Had to be a little bit disappointing to know that they were trading for somebody at the end of the ball game. But if you're the Washington Nationals, you're trying to do everything you can to get to the World Series.
No balls, 2 strikes. That's hit right back through the middle past Burnett. A base hit for Brandon. So a 2-out base hit, and that'll bring up DeJesus. You know, the Reds, of course, wrote the book with the Nasty Boys with 3 big bullpenners, and in this day and age, I mean, Kansas City showed us last year, 3 big bullpenners makes your bullpen pretty good for the postseason.
Well, you know, George, it just enables you to shorten the ball game. You don't have to have as many innings from your starter. So if your starter struggles a little bit early in the ball game, you can bring those guys in. You have 7, 8, and 9, and you basically have 3 closers in a row. That's what the Royals have.
Burnett going into his motion. Cervelli called time, and they'll roll through the signs one more time. There's De Jesus, who singled 1 out in the first, later scored on the Bird home run. Votto on deck. Jesus steps out, takes a look at Jim Riggleman, who rolls through signs down at third. As usual, Billy Hatcher in the first base coach's box for the Reds. Phillips going. This one in the air on one, hop to Burnett. He'll take care of it. So the Reds get a hit, nothing to show for it. 3-1 Cincinnati as we go to the top of 3, and Burnett will lead it off.
The view level for this weekend series against the Pirates are just $10. It's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday for $10. Go to Reds.com/FSOhio during tonight's game. Use the code FSOhio and get yours now. George and Cowboy, this is a good sign to see in the dugout. Zach Cozart, it's the first time we've seen him in the dugout since he's had knee surgery. He's off crutches about a week ago, and I tell you what, he was in the clubhouse before today's game, and you want to talk about a greeting by his teammates. It was unbelievable, and his smiling face is excited to be in the dugout tonight, because he said as much as he likes watching us on TV, it flat out stinks not being able to contribute to this team. And he also said, you know, I got a pretty good workout group, though. You think about Mesoraco and Homer Bailey, himself, Sean Marshall would make up a pretty good nucleus of a team. Those guys work out together. Zach says he is on schedule. He did elliptical today, so no setbacks with that knee, and he is looking forward to 2016. It is great to see.
Cowboy, I got to believe he's got Cooper switch hitting already now that he can spend some time with his new son, right?
Tell you what, they do not make fellows with the kind of character that man has. There are just not too many of them out there. And that's the reason you get that great reception when you come into the clubhouse. It's not just because you're a great player. It's because you're a great human being.
Look forward to seeing him in spring training of 2016. Burnett bounces out. Here's Polanco back in the leadoff spot. Reached on a bunt hit his first time up. This time at the edge of the grass is De Jesus at third. never want to lose Zach Cozart, and you can talk about ability, you talk about fiber in the clubhouse, and he's one of those guys that brings that. Here's the 2-0. But the one thing it has done is given the Reds the knowledge. Is we've watched Suarez. We know that he can play short. We know that he can hit up here. So whether it's at short or someplace else, he could be a contributor.
Well, I think it's that way with any young player. When you get your opportunity at this level, if this is where you see yourself playing, you have to perform. Suarez has done that. I think we've seen that in some of these young pitchers that we've brought to the big leagues.
Tricky hop, but Votto handles it. Over there is Holmberg, and boy, they just do get there. Kerwin Danley there to punch him out, and there's 2 away.
Every pitcher is taught as soon as the ball is hit to the right side, you get on your horse and get to first base.
Not by much, huh?
You just got him. Of course, then again, Polanco can get it down the line.
Yeah. 2 away, and there's Marte, another guy who can motor. 8-game hitting streak on the line, flat out to left, first time up. Great to have you with us. Reds homestand and rocking and rolling starting tonight with the Pirates in for 4. Hope you get a chance to come out to Great American Ballpark. Still basking in the glory of this all-star year. That's a rocket shot in the left, a base hit. 9-game hitting streak for Marte. It's been great in the aftermath of the All-Star game, talking to people throughout Major League Baseball. Players, as we go from clubhouse to clubhouse, but people in New York saying how impressed they were with the show that the Reds put on and the city of Cincinnati put on.
It was phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. I got a chance to sit in the stands for the first time ever just like as a regular fan. It was great. Walking around the ballpark, taking pictures, had my family with me. Oh.
Eat and eat and eat.
I had something at the ballpark during the home run derby that I have never had in my life, and I think I could eat it every day, and that was the bacon on a stick.
Make no mistake about it. If we're going to have somebody review food, it'll be you, Kyle.
Oh my gosh! I could have gone back if the line hadn't been so long. I'd have gone back up there for about a pound of it. My 8-year-old looked at me and said, "Daddy, is that bacon?" I said, "Yeah, it's pretty good."
Now wait a minute. You and Mason went out together. Was Ashley with you?
All 4 of us were there.
And she let you eat that?
Oh yeah.
She didn't let Mason eat it though.
No, she didn't. I gave him a bite.
You had the bacon on a stick in one hand and the ice cream in the other hand.
You got it.
No balls, 1 strike to McCutcheon, who flied to center first time up.
They were too busy eating snow cones and hot dogs and cotton candy and popcorn.
Pop to the right side, in the seats and out of play.
I told Ash before we left, I said, "Look, this is not going to be one of those mama nights. We're going to spoil them a little bit. We're at the ball game. We're going to have some fun." And we did. It was phenomenal. I don't know that you could put on a better show than what the Reds did.
And that's echoed throughout the baseball world. I mean, from inside the ballpark, all around the downtown Cincinnati area, folks had a wonderful time. No balls, 2 strikes. And those moments are special. The mother-daughter moments, the
there were people,
father-kid moments.
There were people crying in the stands when Frazier hit that final home run. I mean, that's how excited people were.
Down in the third base dugout for the Pirates is Jeff Branson, former Cincinnati Red, one of our favorite guys when he played, right, Cowboy? And he's got a father-son weekend. He's got his 2 sons with him here at the ballpark, and he said, so we've been kind of looking forward to this. Mom took the girls, I've got the boys, and it doesn't get any better than this. Got him out for batting practice before the game today. He's the hitting instructor for the Buccos, and someday, Cowboy, you figure he's going to be a pretty good manager.
I would say so. Great teammate. Great fella.
14-year major league career.
We had some fun times here in Cincinnati now.
He was part of that 95 team. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Short lead down at first for Marte. Not going. That's inside. 2-2.
Played at Livingston, which is West Alabama now, where Tanner Rainey, one of our top picks this year, was from. Right-handed pitcher.
Holmberg to the stretch. Here's the 2-2. He got him. McCutchen didn't like the call. Joe West gets the final word. That's a strikeout. Second one for Holmberg. 3-1 Reds.
The Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Here's a reminder, now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag OhioDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Jesse Jackson, did you get your yours tweeted in? Here's Joey. Votto singled with 1 out in the first and later scored on the Marlon Byrd home run. I mean, any fan that's followed baseball knows that Votto's a pretty good hitter, but Cowboy, I mean, we've seen him at his best. We've seen him in an MVP year. I don't know that I've ever seen him more locked in than he is right now.
Yeah, he started out April awfully hot, and I think some of it was the drain of being back playing every single day. But you said it. I mean, after the 4 days of the All-Star break, I mean, he's come back with a vengeance. I mean, hitting just like pitching is just the repetition of mechanics, and right now he's repeating some serious success.
Setting up inside Cervelli with a 1-2. Now that's something, that's a great example right there. They set up inside, they pound him inside, but he still has the ability to get not the meat of the bat, but get enough on the ball to foul it off and just spoil your best pitch.
Yeah, that's the pitch that if I'm AJ Burnett, I want a ground ball to second base. I don't want to have to throw another pitch.
Coming in again. And this is a rocket to left, going back towards the wall. It's going to be one hop off the wall. Votto around first, going to 2, and he'll hold there with a 2-base hit. Unbelievable. The chess match, this one won by Votto.
That's the danger. That's the danger of going in there twice. It's tough to make a perfect pitch twice in a row. He comes in and the ball's fouled off. You see where that ball was? It was in off the plate. Watch this baby run right back over middle in, and Votto crushes it. Instead of getting it on the label, he gets it right on the barrel. A.J. Burnett's fortunate that ball didn't get out of here.
22 baggers for Votto. Leadoff hitter in scoring position here in the 3rd. And here's Bird, who homered his last time up. So what you're saying is not a bad idea to come in, but not back to back.
Well, if you're going to come in, it's tough to make 2 perfect pitches. He made a perfect pitch the first time. The second time the ball ran back over the plate. So if you're going to come in twice, you better make sure that second one doesn't run back in, because Votto's now aware of the fact that you will come in there.
1 strike to Bird. This one muscled into center field. Votto had to retreat to second, so it'll be 1st and 3rd. He won't score. He had turned around right before the pitch to see where Gung was, and Gung was right behind him, so guarding against the possibility of a line drive caught. He went back to the bag, and he'll be at 3rd.
Hey, you see where this ball is hit, and you're right, George. Gung was playing right behind Votto right before the pitch, and then he kind of shifted back towards the normal shortstop position.
So 1st and 3rd, nobody out, and here's Jay Bruce, tried to bunt his way on, retired in the 1st inning. And we've talked a lot about the analytics of the shifting that's going on. No team in all of baseball has shifted more than the Pittsburgh Pirates. And if you watch them night in and night out, they have one of the more complex shifting philosophies. Here with a double play and a runner at 1st and 3rd, they'll play pretty much straight away. But you have to watch every single at bat and every single pitch. They just won't set up in one spot for a full at bat.
And especially with Jay at the plate, they'll move around according to count. 2 strikes, you'll see him move even more so to the pull side. I don't think Joe likes birds.
He's trying to chase him away from the home plate area. Unless it's turkey on Thanksgiving. 1 strike to Bruce. Burnett to the stretch. This one looped into left. Back is Marte. He'll glove it, but that'll be good enough for a sacrifice fly that'll plate Votto. Bruce goes the other way, cashes it in for his 57th run batted into the season. Good at bat.
Get the runner home.
Get him on, get him over, get him in. 4-1 Reds.
And that pitch was sinking down and away from Jay Bruce. Burnett trying to get Bruce to roll over for a double play ball. But instead, Bruce gets the fly ball into left. Good piece of hitting.
Here's Suarez. Single to left his first time up. Biggest difference you've seen in Jay Bruce in these last 2 months?
He seems relaxed, George. Even in the most pressure-filled moments of trade deadline, he seems like he's relaxed, he's having fun, and he's locked in. Not a lot of worries in his head right now. And I think some players that happens to. You get injured for the first time, a major injury, you have to have surgery. You come back, you think physically, okay, I feel all right, but do I have to compensate for it? Do I have to try something different? And you get out of what you do best. I think Jay is back in the perfect spot.
Big swing, and Burnett gets a strikeout, his first of the night. So A.J. Burnett, the 38-year-old right-hander, gets his first strikeout of the night. And you talk about milestones on this night. He is now within 5 strikeouts of tying Don Drysdale with a 33rd spot all time in strikeouts. That's a pretty good name to have your
I would say so.
name listed with, huh? The Hall of Famer from the Dodgers.
Just happy to play in the same ballpark he played in.
Joe Lucca brought up a great point when he talked about Drysdale, who was a great pitcher, great competitor. He and Koufax made up an unbelievable duo of pitchers for the Dodgers back in the 60s. And Joel looked in the book and he said, "You realize when Don Drysdale retired, he was 8th on the all-time strikeout list. Now he's 33rd. So we've had some punch-out artists since then, haven't we?"
Oh, yeah.
3 of them went into the Hall of Fame this past weekend. Barnhart popped up first time up. One ball, 2 strikes to the Reds catcher.
Well, hitting used to be all about contact. You would sacrifice power for contact to try to put the ball in play. Now you sacrifice contact for power.
One of the joys of being at Cooperstown for the 30 years that I emceed the ceremonies was just talking pitching and hitting with some of the Hall of Famers. And you know, guys like Johnny Mize and Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams, they were embarrassed if they struck out a lot. Now who cares?
I can remember Willie McGee would run back to the dugout.
Bouncer down to second. Walker has it. That'll do it. But a double by Votto starts it. A sacrifice fly by Bruce plates him. 4-1 Reds. The Mets and the Brewers had reached a deal. That deal fell through. Now Carlos Gomez recently traded to the Houston Astros with Mike Fiers for 4 minor leaguers going back to Milwaukee. So one of the surprises of the leagues, Houston gearing up for a run. And speaking of Carlos Gomez, back on July 4th, if you remember, the Brewers were here at Great American Ballpark, and he left some gum for his buddy Billy Hamilton out there in center field, just helping a guy out. A little note. See that you needed some gum. Billy Hamilton came out and got it. Very funny moment. And then today, when Hamilton got to the clubhouse, he realized that there was a box waiting for him, and it was a box full of gum, again from Carlos Gomez, with a handwritten note that said, "This is for the dog days of August." Figured you needed some more gum. So Carlos Gomez, and I'm sure that wad of gum in his mouth right now is probably from Carlos Gomez, who is now a Houston Astro. Good job, JD. We always ask the question, boxers or briefs? Let me ask you the question, Cowboy. Gum or sunflower seeds?
Gum.
Never a sunflower seed guy?
Every once in a while, but sunflower seeds, they made the end of my tongue hurt. I liked them, but
the salty ones.
Well, I was just going through them so fast.
Big swing by Aramis Ramirez to the warning track is Bird. He'll have room, one away. Ramirez, 2 fly ball outs, 1 away here in the 4th, and here comes Gunn.
You know, it's one thing to chew gum real fast. The only damage would be biting the side of your lip, or
we've all done that,
or the inside of your cheek. But with sunflower seeds, sometimes they can get a little bit sharp. You have to take your time, because if you don't, it's going to bite you back.
Now, how about chewing tobacco? Where you grew up,
don't chew tobacco.
Exactly.
That's my message.
Amen. I still remember standing by the batting cage in San Diego when Joe Garagiola Sr., who has done so much great work in baseball in a lot of different areas, but he was always against smokeless tobacco. And I remember him having a debate with Tony Gwynn and saying, Tony, you got to stop. And Tony said, Joe, I've tried. And maybe if he had, we'd still have and be blessed with Tony Gwynn still being with us.
Well, there were a lot of us back in that day. You just didn't know any better.
Yep.
I mean, you saw the commercials of Walt Garrison, the Dallas Cowboy, on TV. You thought it was a masculine, a cool thing to do. It's not a cool thing to do. Chewing tobacco is bad for you. Smoking's bad for you. It's proven. Don't do it.
I mean, it's not even maybe.
No.
It's a no-brainer. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Gunn. Loop down the right field line, curving. It'll be in the seats. How did you ever try chewing tobacco? Because of course you came up in an era and in an area where everybody did it.
Yeah. There were a lot of us that did. I'm just, fortunately for me, because when I was with the Giants, they were really after us to get off of it. It took me a while, but I stopped.
I remember Will Clark had a difficult time and finally did. Full count 3-2 to the shortstop for the Pirates. Hangs in there, stays alive. Try it again, 3-2. One mistake from Holmberg. That was a home run by Pedro Alvarez, his 15th of the year. He's got a 4-1 lead here in the 4th. That's a call, strike 3, and for the second time Gunn strikes out looking, and he didn't like the first time and he didn't like this one either.
A mid-thigh, maybe upper thigh fastball right on the inside corner. That pitch appears to be cutting a little bit, and it does not seem as though the Pirates like that at all. That was the same pitch that Andrew McCutchen struck out on earlier, and also the same pitch that got Gunn the first time.
3 strikeouts for Holmberg. Here's Cervelli, who flied to right first time up. You've been blessed with some pretty good pitching coaches over the years, and I think if you ask Holmberg, the 2 years he spent with Teddy Power have been productive years for him. And sometimes it's mechanics, sometimes it's a tweak here, a tweak there, but more often than not, it's how to develop a presence.
So much of pitching is in your head. It's not just the mechanics or the ability to throw. There are plenty of guys out there that can throw hard. But trying to change speeds within the strike zone, having the confidence to have a second and a third pitch that you know you can throw for a strike. And as you escalate up the ladder of the minor league system, it gets tougher and tougher to get guys out with fastballs unless they are perfectly located. And then you've got to go to a secondary pitch, and if you don't have confidence in that, you tend to overthrow your fastball, you leave it up, and you get hammered.
Here's Alvarez, who hammered one back in the second for the lone run that the Buccos have. Short lead for Cervelli down at first. Big swing. Strike one.
Reds have a pretty good shift on themselves from the defensive front here with Alvarez at the plate.
Foul down the first base line, 0-2. Of course, Jay Bell was the hitting instructor in Pittsburgh before he came to Cincinnati to join Brian Price. And that was really when Jay was there. That was really when they started shifting, when the whole process started in Pittsburgh. So he brought a lot of that with him. I mean, the Reds as a staff and as an organization are committed to it. But Jay Bell was committed to it when he came too. I guess it's kind of like if you use it like salt and pepper, it works. If it's your meat and potatoes, sometimes you go overboard.
Yeah, and I think you have to pitch according to how you're going to play defense. And in this situation with Alvarez at the plate, if you're going to continue to have this type of defensive shift, it's got to be a ball that you're going to make him pull. Whether it's an off-speed pitch that he gets out in front of, or whether you pound him inside with a heater. And if your pitcher is not committed to do that, then you're wasting your time with this type of defensive alignment.
And Cowboy, you've been on teams, and we've all seen it, where when you start to initiate something like this, sometimes not all your fielders will buy into it. You know,
not all your pitchers will buy into it. It's just you work through it. You start to see some success with it, and you have to sell it as a coach and as a manager.
That's a call, strike three. 4 strikeouts for Holmberg. He's got a 4-1 lead. He's due up when we return.
At the #1 app for live baseball, and Bat is up to the moment, any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, statcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablet. All right, Brandon Finnegan is one of those 3 lefties that came over in that Johnny Cueto trade. He made his Louisville Bats debut tonight and gave up a first-inning home run, and much like Lamb last night, got a little shaky start, but then pitched 3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, didn't walk a batter, struck out 4. And this is a guy that they was in the bullpen for Kansas City. They've been trying to stretch him out. Last time went 2 innings before the trade, now 3 innings. Someone that they are extremely high on and not necessarily worried about the numbers in 2015, but certainly targeting 2016 as a guy that will compete for a rotation spot. So Brandon Finnegan makes his Reds organizational debut.
Thanks, JD. Here's Holmberg to lead it off as we go to the 4th. He bounced to 3rd first time up. That slap foul in the other way. In talking to scouts, and we were able to, here's a look at David Holmberg and the transactions for today. Recall from Louisville, Kyle Skipworth optioned back down to AA Pensacola, the Reds catcher. And we'll show that to you one more time. Cowboy, the situation surrounding Nate Adcock, an interesting one, placed on the 15-day DL, and it appears that he's going to be on the sidelines for a while.
Yeah, his elbow evidently was barking and may end up having to undergo a little bit of surgery to try to correct that problem. But when you're the guy that is just called up to the big leagues, you're trying to stay on the big league staff. Sometimes your arm may be hurting and you just don't say anything about it. You just try to keep going out there and doing what you can do.
If he gets by him, he's got a base hit, and he does. Alvarez, you maybe think that you can.
Glenn Hurdle is upset.
And Hurdle's going to argue that he came out of the baseline, but if you look where he was, he's still in the box down the first base line. And Hurdle is going to come out and talk to Joe West about where he was.
Well, Joe was standing there watching the entire play unfold, so I'm sure that Joe West has an opinion about it. Billy bunts it hard right at Alvarez.
So it'll be a base hit for Hamilton. He's down at first, and Hurdle will head back to the Pirates dugout. And before we wrap up the transactions, JD, latest that you have on Nate Adcock.
Well, he pitched in Colorado, and after the game his tricep locked up and he got treatment. It lingered a little bit and he thought it was just a strain, and they went back in there to check on it further and did an MRI, and he was shocked to learn that he has a complete tear of the UCL according to him, and he will undergo Tommy John surgery most likely next week as Brandon Phillips attempts to steal second base and is in there. And he just was devastated in the clubhouse. He said, it's not only tough for me, but tough for my family. And it's very hard to prove yourself to a club when you're in the training room. So you could just see the look in his eyes and the way he was talking. I mean, it just completely took him off guard. And Tommy John is a long recovery time, and we wish him the best.
Stolen base number 48 for Hamilton. No, he's in scoring position with one out here in the fourth. And Cowboy, we've had a chance to spend some time with him this year. What a hard-working young man. And look out, that's off Hamilton's back. And had it not hit him in the back, it would have gone into center field, and he probably would have wound up at third. Looked like it got him right in the back by the armpit.
Yeah, Burnett turned to throw to second, and there was nobody covering. So I'm just going to hit you with the ball like we're playing in the backyard. That's incredible. Ooh. And you could see Burnett. He tried to hold on to the ball. It was too late at that point. He'd already committed.
Here's Brandon Phillips, 1 for 2, singled his last time up, a single to center field. 4 runs, 8 hits for the Reds, a run, 3 hits for the Pirates. There goes Billy in the dirt, and he'll have number 49. Heading to the half-century mark, the Red speedster Billy Hamilton.
Billy loves to get that little bit of a rocking, not necessarily a walking lead, but just kind of keeps the body moving. As soon as he sees you turn to go to the plate, he's gone.
Infield in for the Pirates with the 1 away, and Hamilton on third. There's a dribbler to the right side. That's going to get the run in. Well, you bring the infield in, and Brandon Phillips says thank you very much. He's now 2 for 3, gets a run batted in, his 33rd, and the Reds lead it 5-1.
That is a veteran piece of hitting right there by Brandon Phillips. Gets the breaking ball away. Watch him flip this bat out here. That's a thing of beauty.
Beauty for Brandon. For Walker, the frustration of one step away. No way he would have gotten the runner heading to the plate anyways. Hamilton was off on contact. There goes Phillips. This is going all the way to the backstop. And Brandon will be in scoring position. He was off and running, so it'll be a stolen base for Phillips. That'll be number 12 for Brandon.
This is now the third consecutive start for A.J. Burnett where he's given up at least 5 earned runs. Third consecutive since the break.
He's been averaging a run an inning allowed.
And this is a guy, George, that was 7-3 with a 2.11 ERA going into the All-Star break.
136 innings now for Burnett. And if you read lips, you know that he's not happy with Joe West's ball and strike calls. Here's the steals of third, 26 most in Major League Baseball for the Reds of 27, 15 of 15. And Siraj will have his words before he heads back to the dugout as West comes out. Burnett's frosted, you can see.
Oh, you could fry an egg on his forehead right now.
So Phillips scoring position from the stretches. Burnett. Big swing by Ivan de Jesus, who singled and scored on the Bird homer in the first and bounced back to the pitcher in the second. Early in his career, when Burnett signed with the Mets back in the mid-90s and made his name in Florida from 99 through 05 at the major league level, he was a flamethrower.
He just jumped his fastball up 5 miles an hour in one batter.
And there goes Phillips to third. Number 13 for Phillips. He didn't even look back at him.
A.J. Burnett is so upset right now, he's not even paying attention to who's on the base pad.
And they'll bring the infield in one more time. Full count, 3-2 to De Jesus. And there's ball 4. So first and third.
He's about to throw Burnett out of this game.
And Cervelli's trying to arbitrate between the two. West is about ready to head out to the mound, and he's telling me, you better go out and tell him to pipe down or he's going to be gone.
That's a pretty good catcher right there, Francisco Cervelli, because Joe West was about to toss Burnett because Burnett threw his hands up into the air, and immediately Cervelli turned around to stop Joe West from going to the mound or even starting that way. Cervelli basically talking Joe West out of it. Watch Burnett's actions here. Where is that? Among a few other choice words. And immediately Cervelli was like, "Oh, no, let me take care of it."
Well, at least for the time being, Cervelli saved his pitcher.
He did.
And if you watch closely, and the other part of this is who's coming to the plate. Joey. Well, here's Votto, singled and doubled, 2 for 2. First and third for the Reds. That's a strike.
Well, ever since Hamilton scored, the fastball from A.J. Burnett has been 93, 94. He's been 88 all day until right now.
strike to the Reds first baseman. Votto singled in the first, scored on the Bird homer, led off the third with his 20th double of the year, scored on a sacrifice fly by Jay Bruce later in the inning. One and two.
Even there, Burnett still trying to go in. That fastball started in, but it ran all the way to the outside corner.
Fastball in. And missed by much. 2-2. Bird, who homered and singled earlier, on deck. Down the left field line, but that'll curve foul and go into the seats.
For a sinker ball pitcher like AJ Burnett, right-handed, trying to throw down and in to a left-hander, that's the most difficult pitch for him to make, to be perfect. You get one there, and then the second one runs back over, as we saw Votto hit the double last time.
That will go full 3-2.
Burnett is trying to start that ball under the hands of Votto and run it right over the inside edge of the plate. Not a whole lot of leeway there. If it doesn't run back, it's a ball. If it runs back too far, it could be a home run.
Last time it was a double for Votto. There goes the runner. That's inside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. And for the first time, they're starting to rustle around down in the bullpen for the Pirates. And Hurdle called to the bullpen. So they're loaded with Reds. Still only one out, and here comes Bird. All he's done tonight is rip a 3-run home run, his 17th of the year in the first, and then single to keep a rally going in the third. Strike one from Burnett.
Let's have a chance here to blow this baby wide open.
Out in front of the breaking ball. No balls, 2 strikes. Cervelli goes through the signs 3 times and now sets up, down, and away. That's a call, strike 3. So you can add Marlon Bird to the list of those walking away shaking their head. That's 3 strikeouts for Burnett. And maybe his best fastball of the night.
And he might have got a little benefit of the doubt there. Still got a little work to do, though.
There's Jay, bounce to the pitcher and a sacrifice fly. That's down and in. Good block by Cervelli.
Do anything you can to keep it out in front.
Great job.
Even if that means laid out on top of it. That's the kind of catcher I like. Especially with a runner at third.
Still loaded with Reds. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Burnett going after Jay Bruce almost in the same way that he went after Votto. The hard fastball starting in, trying to run him back to the corner. Then he'll start the breaking ball on the plate and try to break it towards the left-handed hitter's back foot, trying to get him to swing over the top or make weak contact.
Burnett sitting at 82 pitches. He's due to hit second in the next inning, in the 5th when we go to the 5th. So he's walking the tightrope right here in the bottom of the 4th. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Talk often about pitch count, Cowboy, but more important than pitch count is number of pitches under duress, and he's had a ton tonight.
From the 1st inning on.
Faced 7 batters in the 1st, faced 5 in the 2nd, faced 5 in the 3rd, and already he's faced 6 here in the 4th. And runners in scoring position in every inning except the 2nd. Guerra is starting to loosen in the bullpen for the Buccos. Two balls, 1 strike to Bruce. And we'll even it up at 2-2. Phillips down at first. He singled. De Jesus and Votto each walk at 2nd and 1st. Hit Harbor right at the second baseman. Walker has it. The Reds will strand 3. They've stranded 6, but they get another run on the infield hit by Phillips and lead at 5-1.
Ohio is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. By Meijer, find more for a healthier you at Meijer. And by Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the country on U.S. News and World Report's best children's hospitals. A lot of people have been tweeting me as the Reds lead 5-1. Please give us a Homer Bailey update coming back from Tommy John surgery. So here indeed is your update. Talked to him today. He said time can't go by fast enough. He is on schedule to throw off of the mound before spring training. He has had no setback whatsoever. In fact, he said he hasn't felt pain at all after the surgery. He is in full workout mode right now, has not throwing yet. But everything going well, and he says he is on schedule again to throw off the mound before spring training. And if that happens, that will be great news for Cincinnati.
Amen, JD. You hit the nail on the head. The Reds would love to have him as the anchor to their rotation come next year at some point in time, huh?
Well, it's nice to hear Homer saying that his arm feels like he never had surgery. That's a good thing.
Here's Neil Walker, bounced to short first time up. The pitcher spot due up next. Burnett is in the on deck circle right now. 5 runs, 9 hits for the Reds, 6 left on base, a run, 3 hits for the Pirates. The Reds' runs came in the first. Singles by De Jesus and Votto, a homer by Bird, his 17th, made it 3-0. Pedro Alvarez homered in the second to make it 3-1. There's a walk to the leadoff hitter Walker here in the 5th. And don't forget, if a Reds home run hits the Toyota sign during tonight's game, Timothy O'Brien of Amelia, Ohio will win this beautiful new Tundra on display at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers.
Well, I guess A.J. Burnett is going to come to the plate.
He'll sacrifice anyways. That doesn't necessarily mean that he'll be back pitching. It's a perfect sacrifice situation. They almost picked the pocket of Walker with Phillips coming in behind him.
We've seen Phillips do that time and time again. Appears like he's standing right at the second base position. Before you know it, he's looped right back in behind the base runner as Votto charges to the plate.
Rick Sofield whips through his signs. Burnett showing bunt again. Takes the bat away and fouls it off. No balls, 2 strikes. Showing bunt.
Well, you can almost see Burnett looking out of the corner of his eye at De Jesus coming in from third. Whether he's going to pull the bat back and swing or whether he's going to try to put the bunt down.
Got it down. They'll think a second but take the out at first. Barnhart took 1 look, so it's a successful sacrifice. 2-4. Walker down to second, 1 away, and here comes the top of the order, Polanco.
In that situation, George, you come out from behind the plate. Barnhart has to be thinking of this prior to the ball being bunted. If I have a for sure chance at second base, I'm going to second. But if there's any doubt at all, I'm going to take the out at first. We're winning 5-1 right now. The last thing that you want is to make a mistake to allow 2 base runners to get aboard with nobody out.
Don't want to give away outs. Here's Polanco. Reached on a bunt hit in the first. Bounced to Votto in the third. On the other side of that 5-1 lead, you want outs, and you don't want to be walking people. Walker, the leadoff batter, walks to start this 5th. The second walk allowed by Holmberg. Taking ball wide, 2-0.
Be a little bit too careful right now. 5-1 game. Make a him swing the bat.
That's popped back out of play behind home plate. 2-1. Polanco burst upon the scene last year. Came up in the month of June, hit in 11 straight, and was hitting well over 300 for the first 3 weeks. Then the bottom fell out. Hit around 100 for the next month, and he found himself back in AAA by the month of August. There's his second walk in the inning, third walk. Barnhart will go out and give his left-hander a little pep talk.
I imagine there will be some action brewing down in the Reds bullpen. 2 walks in an inning where you're winning 5-1.
Don't forget, you can get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before every game with Reds Live on Fox Sports Ohio. All the info you need for every day's game. Reds Live presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Join us tomorrow at 6:30 for Reds Live. Join Jeff Pecoro, Brian Giesenslaw, Jim Day, and the crew for the pregame look at the Reds and Buccos game 2. That's hit hard down the left field line, curving. It'll go out of play.
And just with that swing of the bat, even though the ball's foul down the left field line, that's the reason you don't walk guys. You don't want to give the Pirates a chance to come right back in this game with one swing of the bat. Make them earn it.
Marte flied to left, then singled to left to stretch his hitting streak to 9 straight. Down to short, backhand. They'll get one at second, on to first, and they turned it. Even the speed of Marte couldn't beat the speed of 6 to 4 to 3. Holmberg gets a bailout job from in the middle of his infield, and it's still Cincinnati in control of this one by a score of 5-1. This Saturday, see your Reds take on the Pirates for as low as $12, plus the first 25,000 fans in attendance receive a Devin Mesoraco bobblehead presented by St. Elizabeth Healthcare. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or reds.com/tickets. That's some kind of moon, huh?
Werewolves are out.
Oh, we haven't heard them yet this year, have we?
I like that song, Werewolves in London.
Here's Suarez, singled to left and struck out. I think those were your tickets here when it started, weren't they? You are an instigator. Here's Suarez to lead it off in the 5th. Speaking of instigate, I'm watching last night at home, and I wasn't there, but I did see the billboard and congratulating Marty on his birthday. But then I saw congratulations on his 107th birthday. And then
somebody's got to keep him honest. That's my duty.
We took a shot of you and Marty in the booth, and you were busting your seams. Now,
oh, that was fun.
It's a strike 3. Suarez retired. That's 4 strikeouts now for A.J. Burnett. Hey, we got another great ticket offer for you tonight on Reds tickets. You can get tickets in the view level for this weekend series against the Pirates for just $10. Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, just $10. Go to Reds.com/FSOhio during tonight's game. Use the code FSOhio and get yours now. Well, take me behind the scenes. How did you do that?
Well, we asked the lady downstairs that runs the desk. You know her.
Aggie Siriati?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
To put Marty's birthday up there. Actually, Chris was the one that suggested that we put his, happy birthday to Marty. And she said, well, do you want to put his age? And I said, yes, I think we do. And she said, okay. And I said, 107. She looked at me like I had 3 heads. I said, 107. And I said, run it as many times as you can. So when the 5th inning came about, and I kept looking for it, and the 5th inning came about, I pointed up there. Well, Marty saw happy birthday, Marty Brenneman, and then he looks at me and he goes, 107? Who put that? And I just couldn't hold back.
Here's Tucker Barnhart down and in for a ball. 2-2.
He got a big kick out of that.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Ooh, that got him
on the back leg.
Man. 2-2. Burnett hits Barnhart. 1 out, 1 on. And here's Holmberg, the pitcher.
You try to throw that slider to the back foot, but not the back knee. Marty shares his birthday with his wife Amanda. How about that?
That's
both
pretty
of
neat.
them birthday on the same day.
Holmberg showing bunt, fouls it off. Well, it's great to see both of them enjoying life, isn't it?
Amen, bro.
Outstanding. Holmberg bounced to third and became Burnett's second strikeout victim in the 4th.
This is a spot where, as a young pitcher, we've seen Anthony DeSclafani struggle with it a little bit. But with Holmberg, or anybody for that matter, if you're a pitcher and you're asked to get the bunt down, you got to figure out a way to do it.
There goes the runner, takes the bat back, and there's a base hit. Round and second, going to third. How about that? Holmberg showed bunt, and with Ramirez charging from third, he lays this one into right field for a base hit for his first hit. That's the way to get your first hit.
Man, that surprised everybody in the ballpark.
Maybe David too.
You can see him smiling running down the first baseline. I love it.
Good job, DH.
You only get your first hit once.
And it was a rocket shot to right.
Yes, it was.
First and third for the Reds, trying to play add-on, and here's Billy. Still only one out in the inning. Hamilton fly to center, reached on a bunt hit and stole 2 bases in the 4th. Now 49 stolen bases. That's hit hard. They're going to go for 2, and he throws it into left field. A run will score. Billy's coming to second. He'll be safe, and it's second and third. Well, they moved Pedro Alvarez from third to first because he had over 20 throwing errors at third. Well, here he uncorks one way wide that Gunn can't get to, and that may be it for A.J. Burnett. Take another look.
You had a feeling it was coming. Tried to get his feet set, could not. And I mean, that's not even in the area code.
So it'll go as a run batted in for Hamilton, and an error to put runners at second and third, and that'll be it for A.J. Burnett tonight. While the pitching change takes place, time for our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. From 700 WLW at the Holy Grail. It's your chance to answer Reds trivia, win prizes, and be part of Reds Live. The fun gets started tomorrow night at 6 at the Holy Grail. Stop by, have a great time, and maybe you'll be part of Reds Live. Oh, Reds Live tonight is 10 hits and 6 runs so far. It'll go as a throwing error on the part of the first baseman Alvarez. Runners at second and third. A run batted in for Hamilton is 24th. So second and third with 1 out. And here's Diolis Guerra, who'll take over for his 10th appearance of the season.
Boy, if you're the Pirates, you got to wonder, where did A.J. Burnett go? It's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
You wonder, after what now 140 innings, maybe a little bit of a breather, or start off, skip a start. I mean, they're going to need him down the stretch.
Yeah, but he didn't have the zip on the fastball early. Looked like he put his foot on the accelerator to get out of that 4th inning, but it ran the tank dry.
Here's Brandon, bounced out, singled and a run batted in. Last time in the 4th with the infield in, he dribbled one past Walker into right field for a base hit that knocked in the 5th Reds run. Breaking ball misses 1-1. Missing down and in 2-1.
Straight over the top sinker and curveball from Daelis Guerra. For the most part, he's thrown strikes since coming to the big leagues.
Two and one. Changeup way out in front. Nasty looking changeup.
You get that kind of body movement coming to the plate. That looked exactly like the previous fastball. This ball just stopped in midair. It's a backbreaker.
Reds haven't seen a lot of them. Phillips got a big view right there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This one hit good to left. Going back. Gonna be gone. Brandon got fooled once. Fooled me once, not twice. 6 homers for Phillips. And for the second time tonight, the Reds get a 3-run home run. And they now lead it 9-1. 2 of those 3 runs charged to Burnett.
George, you've heard me tell this story about Eddie Murray. Threw him a split finger. He looked terrible on it. It bounced in the dirt. I asked for it again as we see Phillips hit this changeup out of the ballpark. Terry Kennedy comes out to the mound. Don't throw it again. I said, oh, we're throwing it again right here. And he hits it in the upper deck. And that's exactly what Phillips did there. He sat on the changeup and crushed it. Another veteran job of hitting. You can talk about it all day long, but experience makes all the difference in the world.
And again, the other part of that, you talk about pitch selection, but pitch location is the other part. If he throws it in the dirt, maybe it's a good pitch.
Right.
But Brandon was sitting all over it, huh?
There's no doubt about that.
9-1 Reds. Here's De Jesus. Single, bounced out and walked. He's looking at where it's coming from, right over the top. And it was a nasty changeup, the first one. Second one. Boom. So the book closed on AJ. 4 1/3, 10 hits, 8 runs, 7 of the 8 earned, 4 strikeouts and 2 walks.
And you come up through A-ball, AA, and AAA as a minor leaguer. You don't think in your mind, okay, somebody's going to try to sit on my split finger or my curveball. You think, all right, everybody's looking fastball. Well, Phillips is sitting on changeup after you make a big leaguer look bad. He doesn't forget that.
Walker moved to his right by a step, and by the time this one was drilled past him, he couldn't get back to get it. I guess he was more or less looking at location. His first step is to his right. And De Jesus will pick up his second hit of the night.
Yeah, that was really weird. Watch Walker in the background back here. He goes to his right, but yet the ball is going to his left. Trying to anticipate where the ball would end up and anticipate it in the wrong direction. He's still shaking his head.
Still only 1 out. The runner down at first, and here comes Joey. Votto again on base 3 straight times tonight. Single, scored on the homer by Bird in the first. Led off with a double in the third, scored on a sacrifice fly by Bruce, and he walked in the fourth. This Pirate bullpen has been one of the strong points of this club this year. Coming in, their earned run average was second in the league. Did not have difficulty with walks all season long. This one foul to the left side and out of play by Votto. And they're in the top 3 or 4 in about every category for bullpens in the league. And of course they're anchored by Mark Melancon, who's had a brilliant year as their closer.
They've got a pretty good 1-2 punch at the end with the left-hander Tony Watson and Melancon, the right-handed closer. But as you were talking about earlier, George, you look at that Kansas City Royals bullpen, and that seems to be where everyone wants to equate. Shorten the ball games, get those power arms at the end of the game.
And the blueprint for success in the postseason is 2 strong starters, 3 guys in the bullpen. 3 big guys in the bullpen. Missing down and in, and we'll go full 3 balls, 2 strikes to Joey.
Yeah, because when you get to the postseason, you're not really worried about the big 162. You're worried about winning that day and that series. And in a short series, you can use those 3 guys in that bullpen 3 or 4 days in a row.
Setting up down and away, Cervelli. And there's ball 4. Votto again. Cowboy, unbelievable. On base 4 straight times. 2 walks, a double and a single. It is unbelievable the way he's playing the game right now. Here comes Ray Searage out to talk to his big right-hander. A homer, a single, and a walk since he came on. You know, the other part of what you're talking about, Cowboy, why are teams going after the big starters, the David Price, the Cole Hamels, the Johnny Cuetos? Because you need somebody in the postseason that's not going to go 4 1/3 or 5 1/3. You need somebody that's going to go 6 or 7 so that you can work it with 2 or 3 out of the bullpen.
And what we saw with the Giants last year and in years past, they've been able to do it with one guy basically pitching 3 games, especially in a 7-game series. We saw it with Madison Bumgarner last year. And that number 1 guy that you know that you can count on, well, he makes a whole lot of difference. Not just for a series, but in the mentality of your whole club.
A 2 on for the Reds. And here comes Marlon Byrd. Byrd, a 3-run homer in the first, a single in the third, and he struck out his last time up in the 4th. The Reds already tonight have 2 3-run home runs. One from Byrd in the first to make it 3-0, and the 3-run shot from Phillips here to make it 9-1. On the inside corner for a strike, 1-1. 8th batter to come to the plate for the Reds here in the 5th. After the homer by Phillips, a single by DeJesus, and the walk to Votto. And Jay Bruce on deck. Did he go? Hit hard but foul down the third baseline. Already completed today. Washington beat Miami 1-0. Scherzer gets the win. Papelbon his first save as a member of the Nationals. San Diego came back, rain delays and all, and beat the Mets 8-7. Rockies and Cardinals, they're tied at 5 in the 5th. Atlanta and Philadelphia, the Phillies lead at 4-1 in the 6th. And Milwaukee leads the Cubs 2-0. They're in the 3rd. Missing down and away, and we'll go full once again. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Would he dare throw him a 3-2 change?
Throw your best pitch, right?
Got that right.
Fastball foul back and out of play. The old Tom Glavine philosophy: trust your stuff and don't give in. If it's your best pitch, do it.
Right.
He's not at that stage yet, is he?
I don't think so. I don't think there are too many that will achieve the Tom Glavine stage.
Right again, 3-2 with 1 out. Now that's a called strike 3. First strikeout for Guerra. Second out of the inning, and here comes Jay Bruce. Bruce tonight, bounce of the pitcher, sacrifice fly in the 3rd, made it 4-1 to plate Votto, and then bounced out to second in the 4th. Jesus off second and Votto off first. Big breaking ball drops in there for strike 1.
There are not too many batters that come to the plate looking for that kind of curve, the slow curve that you just rainbow in there.
Especially when you haven't seen a pitcher before.
Right.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Trying to pitch Bruce backwards there. The slow curve, strike 1, then the changeup, got the swing and miss. Tried to hit him up with a high fastball there, and Jay able to foul it off.
In the dirt, De Jesus will go to 3rd. Votto will anchor at 1st. Wild pitch.
That changeup again. That ball had some serious bite to it as it got towards home plate. Straight down.
One and 2 to Bruce in the dirt, and Cervelli's had a workout tonight. He can double with the Penguins in goal in the offseason. 2-2. Looped into center, sinking. It is over the head of the center fielder McCutchen. That'll get 1 run in. Here comes Votto around 3rd. The throw to the plate won't be in time, and Jay Bruce is doubled in a pair. A smooth swing from Jay Bruce, a sinking line drive that it looked as if McCutchen thought it was going to dip. Instead, he just kept carrying and went roll over his head. 23 2-baggers for Bruce. 2 more score. It's 11-1 Cincinnati.
Sinking fastball, and Bruce just barrels this one up. You're right, George. It did not look like it was a full swing from Jay, but it still got over the head of McCutchen.
McCutchen's first 2 steps were in. He looked like he thought he had a beat on him. Then he just turboed over his head. So 3 runs batted in for Bruce tonight. The Reds now lead at 11-1, and now, boy, you talked about the momentum of leaving St. Louis, and they're keeping it going here tonight. 10th batter of the inning. Suarez started the inning striking out. up for the second time here in the 5th.
Try to keep the winning momentum long and the losing momentum short.
That's a strike, and it's 1-2. Suarez tonight singled in the first and struck out twice against Burnett. Missing high 2-2. That's on the inside corner. Call strike 3. So he strikes out twice, but before it's all over, talk about a nice changeup. It worked once, not the second time to Brandon Phillips. A 3-run homer. The Reds lead it 11-1. Thirteen hits for the Reds. Marlenberg got it started after hits by DeJesus and Votto in the first. 3-0 Cincinnati, his 17th home run as the Reds get off to an early lead. Meanwhile, Pedro Alvarez clubbed a long shot home run, his 15th of the year, to make it 3-1. That was in the second. But then the Reds went back to work. Brandon Phillips caps it all with a 3-run home run in the 5th to give the Reds a 9-1 lead. And a double by Bruce makes it 11-1, and that's where we stand. 11 runs, 13 hits, no errors for Cincinnati. 7 left on base. 1 run, 3 hits, and 1 error for the Pirates. 4 left on base. In that 5th inning, of the 6 runs scored, 4 of them were earned and 2 of them were unearned after the error by Alvarez. Meanwhile, the beneficiary of all of this is David Holmberg. So Holmberg back to work now with a 10-run lead as we go to the top of the 6th. McCutchen 0 for 2, a fly ball out and a strikeout looking. Book closed on A.J. Burnett, 4 1/3, 10 hits, 8 runs, 7 of them earned, 4 strikeouts and 2 walks. Big swing, and it's 2-1. While the Reds were piling up 11 runs on 13 hits, Holmberg allowed the homer to Alvarez in the second. That's ripped but foul down the third baseline. In the third, he gave up a base hit to Starling Marte. He stretched his hitting streak to 9 straight. He walked a batter in the 4th and then walked 2 in the 5th. But His defense bailed him out in the 5th. A double play into the inning. Rocket in the left. That's a base hit for McCutchen. Well, the leadoff hitter on here in the 6th inning. That's the 3rd time tonight the Pirates have had the leadoff hitter on.
McCutchen closes up that front side. Boy, he gets the bat through there with some serious authority.
Nobody out, one on. Here's Ramirez. Fly ball to center and a fly ball to the warning track. That'll bounce past De Jesus at 3rd for a base hit. So the first 2 batters on here in the 6th. And Jeff Pico will get some work going in the bullpen for the Reds as now we approach the 100 pitch mark for Holmberg.
Looked like he tried to cut that one in on the hands of Ramirez. Just didn't quite get it in far enough.
While Holmberg has only walked 3, he's been deep in the count. And here's Sean Rodriguez, who will pinch hit. With 2 on, nobody out here in the 6th. So due to the deep counts, he's now closing in on the 100 pitch mark. Middle of the infield double play depth for the Reds. Change up way out in front. Matthews loosening for the Reds in their bullpen under the tutelage of Mac Jenkins. Missing inside.
See Ryan Matthews with 2 balls there. As soon as he catches 1 ball, he's throwing enough. That way he can get his arm loose quicker before he starts getting after it as far as the location.
How many pitches did it take you to loosen up when you were in bullpen mode?
Roger, you could give me about 7 or 8.
Lotto will get 1 at 2nd, and that's all they'll get. Good job by Joey to get a glove on it and get the force. So it's 1st and 3rd with 1 out. So you're ready to go if you had to be.
Well, the issue for me, especially early in my career, is Roger Craig knew I could get loose quickly, and most of the time I kept my body loose. So if he asked me to get up and I was loose no matter what. He would point or call to the bullpen. Actually, he'd just point down there. I'd get up and start throwing, and he's walking to the mound. And by the time he got out there, he's pointing to the bullpen. So you better be loose in 8 or 9 pitches.
Here's Chris Stewart, who will pinch hit. 1st and 3rd. This one looped into left center field. Back is Hamilton. He'll glove it. That'll get McCutchen home with a sacrifice fly from Stewart. It's now an 11-2 ball game. Hey, Kroger and the Reds are proud to team up to offer you a great value this season. The Kroger Meal Deal. Check concession stands throughout the ballpark for the Kroger Meal Deal, which includes a hot dog, bag of chips, 16-ounce Coke, and during this homestand, the animals squeezing yogurt. Make sure you get your Kroger meal today.
My kids like that, the animals.
You do too.
No, I don't like yogurt on ice cream.
All right, give me your perfect ice cream break.
Mint, Oreo, cookies, and cream. That's my favorite.
Here's Pedro, homered back in the 2nd and struck out in the 4th. That's a foul ball. Votto thinking that he had it on the bag, but Kerwin Danley saying it was foul. Are you going to have some this week?
I have some every week.
Can we join you?
I would love for you to join me. You can actually join me at Meyer on Saturday out in Loveland. I'll be there from 12 till about 2 o'clock.
Eating ice cream the whole time?
We'll be giving away ice cream, taking pictures, signing autographs, and we'll be eating ice cream as well.
Broken bat. Votto gloves it. Join the Cowboy and join the Reds and David Holmberg and a smiling scoreboard 11-2. Between the Angels and the Dodgers in a game you can see only on Fox Sports 1. Coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Two teams that have already been active, and you figure, Cowboy, we are 19 hours away now from the trading deadline, 4 o'clock tomorrow. That there'll be some more action tonight and tomorrow. Looks like David's night is done, but what a nice return for David Holmberg.
Did a really good job. Was able to manage even with a couple of guys getting on early.
Two runs, 5 hits, 5 left on base. That was Holmberg's work on the night. Up and down the dugout. Congratulations to him.
And even after he got the big league, George, he continued to pitch, continued to throw all of his pitches. He didn't just sit out there and throw fastballs. He made sure that he threw strikes and kept the ball in the ballpark, except for the one pitch. I thought he did a great job.
I mean, other than what we saw in spring training, first time we've seen him on the mound here since September. What do you see that's different?
I think he's throwing more strikes with his off-speed stuff, and he's more aggressive with the fastball on the inside part of the plate to both righties and lefties, and that's a key for a guy that doesn't throw the ball in the mid-90s. You've got to pitch inside.
Tucker Barnhart bounces one back to Guerra. After pinch hitting last inning, Rodriguez stays into the game at short, and behind the plate, Chris Stewart will stay in to do the catching for Clint Hurdle. Here's Skip Schumacher, pinch hitting in the pitcher spot, 8th in the lineup for the Reds. That's a looping hit into right, and while Holmberg will be happy with the pitching line, I think he's even more happy with his first major league hit.
I would tend to agree.
Holmberg was 1 for 3 while he was in there. His first hit, a base hit to right field, when he faked a bunt and lined a shot into right. Well, base hit for Schumacher, 1 out, 1 on, and here's Billy Hamilton.
It is now 14 pinch hits for Skip Schumacher, and that leads the National League.
Leads all of Major League Baseball, and he's been so valuable in that role for the Reds, number one. But number two, I don't think he envisioned that was his only role when he came here. He had hoped to be playing more, but the way things have unfolded, that's what he's taken to, and that's what he's done a good job with. Billy flied out, reached on a bunt, hit, stole 2 bases. And then in the 5th, they hit a 1-hopper down to Alvarez. And Alvarez launched it past the shortstop into left center field for an error. A run scored, and it kept the inning alive. And one batter later, Phillips hit a 3-run homer. Way out in front, Billy. 2-1.
You hear so many times fans look at a guy like Skip Schumacher and they say, well, 14 hits, whoop-de-doo. Or they'll look at the batting average. Well, he's only hitting 216. Yeah, let's get somebody else up here. He is doing the most difficult job that there is to do on a baseball field, and that is come off the bench and try to get a hit.
That's one part of the equation. The other is you take a Skip Schumacher and a Brian Pena and put them on your club. What they do in the clubhouse, the leadership quotient that they bring is an important part of bringing any club together. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's through into right field, a base hit for Billy. So Hamilton has a 2-hit night. 2 on, 1 out. Back to the top of the order, Brandon Phillips. But he keeps the ball on the ground. Money in the bank.
Looked like a changeup or a backdoor breaking ball. He was out in front, but the key is exactly what you said, George, was keeping the ball on the ground. And I don't know that you can emphasize that enough with the speed of Billy Hamilton.
Here's Brandon. Well, you know Joey Votto's been red hot. He's been on base 4 times again tonight, including a single and a double and 2 walks. But how about Phillips tonight? Single to center, knocked in a run with a base hit in the 4th, and then a 3-run homer in the 5th. Arcia in the driver's seat numbers for the Red second baseman tonight. 3 for 4. 4 runs batted in and a couple of stolen bases to boot. After 2 hitless games, he's come home for some home cooking. Strike 2 and 1. A.J. Burnett 97 pitches in his 4 1/3 innings of 10-hit 8-run baseball, and Guerra in the 2 innings he's worked now approaching the 50-pitch mark already.
The thing that I did not understand from the beginning of this ball game, George, was how Burnett was approaching the Reds batters. It looked like he was just kind of going through the motions, throwing 87, 88, 84, 85 until he really got upset. And that took, I mean, by that point the game was almost out of hand. Did he start really getting after it?
How about this? BP goes gone. A 3-run home run in the 5th. Back that up with Brandon Phillips' 3-run home run in the 6th. Normally he flashes the leather. Tonight it's a goal bat kind of night for Brandon Phillips. Man,
that was what I would refer to as keyholing a pitcher.
Whoa.
You took his changeup, which is his best pitch, out of the ballpark in the previous at bat. And now you've got a pitcher on the mound where he's not going to use that pitch again. So you sit on the fastball, and then Phillips hits that one out of the ballpark.
Well, sometimes pitchers set up hitters. Brandon set up this right-hander here. Wham. 7 runs batted in. That's a career high for Brandon Phillips. The BP Express is in full gear tonight.
I bet those balls landed probably within 5-10 feet of each other over the left center field wall.
11 times in his career he's had a multi-home run game. Never has he had 7 runs batted in a game as he has here tonight.
Well, that dude BP Twitter account is going to be live and in concert tonight.
They do that, they're hanging around you in the dugout, aren't they?
Well, that's the key when you're on the bench. Guy hits a bunch of home runs or does something great, you slide over behind him, you get a little FaceTime. Look at Todd Frazier. He knows where the camera's at. It's probably what they're talking about right now. Hey, let me just stand right by you. I want to get a little FaceTime.
Tomas Vera wants to know if he needs a translator for the post-game interview. Ivan De Jesus, he's been on base 3 times tonight. A single, a walk, and a single. Well, the reigning silver bat winner in the National League from last year is here. Neil Walker, and Brandon Phillips showing what he can do with the bat too. Teach him a thing or two, right, BP? He's all over Frazier.
Oh yeah, he's talking smack to Frazier right now. Hey, you're not the only guy that get the ball out of the ballpark.
Nubbed into center field. Walker there, can't get it. Another base hit.
The nightmare continues for Pirates pitching.
Third hit of the night for De Jesus, and Ray Searage will take another march to the mound.
Ray Searage may lose about 15 pounds walking to the mound tonight. How many times has he been out there? 4th time, maybe 5. The problem for the Pirates is you've got a 4-game series here in Cincinnati. The last thing that you want to do is burn up your bullpen in a ball game that is way out of hand.
Antonio Bastardo is starting to loosen in the bullpen for the Buccos. I think when they brought in Guerra, I think they had visions of him maybe going the distance, and at 60 pitches he might have been able to do it, but now he's kind of dug himself a hole. Here's Joey Votto. Single scored on the homer by Bird in the 1st. Led off the 3rd with a double, scored on a sacrifice fly by Bruce. Walked in the 4th and walked in the 5th.
Will they get him out tonight?
Pete Rose always said, if I get one hit, I want two. If I get two, I want three. If I get three, I want four, right?
It's the drive you have to have.
And number 19 has that. So especially right now. Brian Price brought up a great comment the other night in St. Louis, and that was not just the numbers that Joey's putting up, but the way he's doing it, the at-bats, the situations, the way he's helped carry the offense for this ball club. Tries the inside out at the left. Who's going to get there? Marte will, and they finally retire Votto tonight. That's second out of the inning.
Looks like that's going to be all she wrote for Deolis Guerra.
Plant Hurdle out. He'll double switch the new pitcher into the game. Bastardo, who'd been loosening. Alvarez will exit. And while the pitching change takes place, we'll take time out for these messages. You're watching Reds Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Game, tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag Ohio Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Good job, Dave, on one of the, what are we at now, 24 hours and counting of rain delays this year?
At least.
Nice job, Dave. Still fun at the ballpark, huh? Well, fun tonight for the Reds. 14 runs, 17 hits for Cincinnati. A.J. Burnett started 4 in the third innings, 10 hits, 8 runs, 7 of them were earned. Guerra came in and has allowed in the last 2 innings, the 3-run home run to Phillips in the 5th and the 3-run home run to Phillips in the 6th. And here's Antonio Bastardo to take over on the double switch. Travis Ishikawa, veteran first baseman, comes in to take over at first for Alvarez. And here's Marlon Byrd. Byrd started it all in the first with his own 3-run home run. The Reds have 3 3-run home runs tonight. Overall, Byrd is 2 for 4. 2 strikeouts, a single, and that home run. Only 1 game, Cowboy, but nice way to start the homestand.
Yeah, we were talking about continuing the momentum that you gain when you beat a team like the Cardinals in back-to-back games. It lifts your spirits, and then you have to capitalize on it. You have to continue to play with that kind of momentum. I mean, it was an obvious downer when the Reds had to move Johnny Cueto. But the issue as a professional is you have to put that past you and do your job. Reds were able to do that in St. Louis, doing it here tonight. And George, we've talked about this before. When your team is out of it, once you're out and you know you're out, you tend to relax and just play the game. You don't apply the pressure to you so much. Teams like the Cardinals and the Pirates right now, and there are others that are out there that would fit the same bill. They're doing everything they can to try to win ball games and move up another rung. I mean, this club here that the Reds are playing now are trying to catch the Cardinals. So there is some innate pressure on them, whether they think it or not.
And what the Reds have gone through of late, yes, there are some players that have been around the major leagues for a while, but this really, for most of these players, not necessarily Marlon Byrd has been through it before, but most of the homegrown Reds, it's the first time they've gone through a July 31st trading deadline where the
they
Reds
had to be the sellers.
Yes.
And it's the reality of, oh wow, we haven't done our job, starts to set in. And not only that, you know, George, that I mean, you played, you understand this. When you spend the majority of your waking hours at the ballpark during the season, these 25 guys are your family. You spend more time in the locker room than you do with your family at home. And when you lose one of them, or two, or three, or the prospects of losing them, it affects you.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
But I will say this. Once you go through it, and this club, the Reds have gone through it, you come next year, the last thing that you want to do is be in this situation again. Whether you have young pitchers, whether you have veteran players, whatever that may be, the last thing that you want to do when it gets to July, the end of July, is have to go through this again. So it changes your perception and your concept of how you're going to play the game.
Just saw the shot at Joey Votto there. I remember 1 year after the Reds made the postseason, when the Reds were out of it in September, I remember sitting with him. In fact, it was in Pittsburgh, and he said, "This is the worst month of my baseball career," because we had been there before. We wanted to be back again. That I never want to play in the month of September where we don't have a chance to advance. Whole different outlook.
It is. But that's the kind of player that you want. You want the fight and the grind and just the perception or the mental outlook that you don't want to lose. You don't want to be the team that everybody's looking at when they come into town. All right, well, we're playing the Reds. We can gain 2 or 3 games here. So you have to play with that chip on your shoulder. Right now the Reds are doing that. Well, we'll show you. But you've got to continue that positive momentum.
12th pitch of this at bat for Marlon Byrd. Just missed this one. High in the air to left center field. He just missed another home run. But he missed it. He had an earlier 3-run home run. But how about Brandon? In the 5th, a 3-run home run. In the 6th, a 3-run home run. And 7 runs batted in. there's the magic of Matt Sigafus giving you a highlight picture of 14 runs and 17 hits for the Reds, including 7 runs batted in, a career high for Brandon Phillips. And a reminder, we've got another great ticket offer for you tonight on Reds tickets. You can get tickets in the view level for this weekend series against the Buccos for just $10. Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, just $10. Go to Reds.com/FSOhio during tonight's game. Use the code FSOhio and get yours now. Skip Schumacher stays in the game. He'll take over for Brandon Phillips. I guess Brandon had a night's worth of success on this night, huh? Ryan Matthews will take over. His 31st appearance of the season. Here's Matthews ready to go to work. And Pedro Florimon, the switch hitting pinch hitter, will come to the plate. And at 125, 1 for 8 since coming up from the minor leagues. This is one of those nights where Matt Sigafus can point anywhere he wants for some highlights, huh?
Got that right.
Good job, Ziggy. Also down in the truck tonight, Jim Mueller doing some graphic work for us on a night where there are a whole lot of numbers to translate into a Reds lead.
Well, every single Reds player that has come to the plate has had a chance to run the bases tonight. That's always a good sign.
Including the first major league hit for the starting pitcher, David Holmberg. Our producer tonight is Brian Hunterman. Our director, Roy Alfers. Great to have you with us. George Grand, the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley, and JD Jim Day. Florimon disposed of. There's out number 1 here in the top of the 7th.
This will be your Cholula hot sauce flamethrower of the game, brought to you by Cholula hot sauce. And that baby was 92 miles an hour.
Well, there was a time when he was with Washington, Matthews, that he was one of the best setup guys in the league.
There's no doubt about that.
Smashed his hand up in frustration, and it's been a while to bounce back, but he's been a good addition to this Reds bullpen this year.
Well, the key to pitcher's frustration is don't punch with your pitching hand.
1 ball, no strikes. Tempted, were you ever?
Oh, yeah. But I had Al Rosen as a general manager. Don't mess with your moneymaker, son.
1 ball, 1 strike. Popped up left side. Ishikawa will be retired by the shortstop Suarez.
I'll tell you this, George. I got on the team plane when I was a rookie. I had my daughter, was carrying her in her little carrier, you know, like the little seat that you put on the plane. In my right hand, I had my bag in my left hand. My wife's coming on.
Miss Emily?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he said, "What are you doing?" I'm like thinking, I'm trying to help my wife. He goes, "You let her carry that baby. I don't want to ever see you carrying anything in that right hand again." And I mean, he was serious as a heart attack.
Oh, what a competitor.
Oh.
You mentioned a couple of guys tonight. Al Rosen, not a better competitor that ever played the game, and as a leader, he helped turn that whole franchise around, didn't he?
Yes, he did. And when his nose got red, you better head for the highway, because he was going to tear you a new one.
Hit hard, past the third baseman De Jesus. Polanco will round first and go to second. Polanco has his second hit of the night here with 2 outs in the 7th. Did he look you in the eye when you told him you were going to make the ball club?
Yes, he did. Actually, I had gone into the office of Roger earlier when we started spring training, because I had nothing to lose at that point. And I told them both. I said, by the time we get to the end of spring training, I'm making this team. They both looked at me like, sure. took everything I had to do it too, but I had no choice at that point. I had to make them understand that I believed in myself and I believed I could do it. And it happened.
I always had the feeling that he had a special place in his heart for you, because you were truly like one of his kids. And he challenged you and he fought with you a few times, but you always had a feeling there was a warmth there that was something special.
Yeah, I can remember when Al called me into the office when I made the All-Star team, and it's the only time I ever saw him get emotional, and it was a real special moment for me, because every time he had ever called me into the office, he was chewing me out. But this was one of those times where he was hugging my neck and you could see the tears in his eyes. He was proud of me and made me feel good.
Marte gets plunked. So first and second with 2 outs still.
Matthews trying to go in here, and you can see the two-seamer. It just takes off on him. Catches that front elbow of Marte.
Now, you and I talked about this in Denver last weekend. I think we both believe the same way when it comes to this. To succeed at this level as a pitcher, you have to pitch inside. Yeah. I'm not saying you want to hit Marte, but consistently as an individual pitcher and as a staff, you have to pitch inside.
And all you're really trying to do is make the hitter retreat his hands. His hands have to come back towards his body so he doesn't feel comfortable with extension. And I thought that David Holmberg did that quite a few times tonight. And when you're not an overpowering pitcher, you have to be able to make the hitter retreat the hands. Then you can go back away. You're changing eye level. You're changing his perception of the plate.
The two things that make you a good hitter are your hands and your feet. So retreat the hands and move the feet.
Right.
Dick Pole was one who always believed that you had to make hitters move their feet.
Especially the guys that were the speedsters.
1 ball, 1 strike to McCutchen. Flied out, struck out, and reached on a base hit.
You know, so many times, George, when you hear broadcasters or pitching coaches or pitchers talk about pitching inside, immediately folks think, oh, he wants them to throw at their head. He wants them to knock them down. That has nothing to do with it. It's about retreating the hands. Just make the hitter aware that you will throw it in there and break his back, because no hitter wants to get their back broken. Because then you got to go back to the dugout and everybody's all over you. Boy, you really got jammed. You got sawed off. Did you see all those splinters? It's embarrassing.
And when you were here, Don Gullett had the same belief as a pitching coach.
Gullett, Grant, Jackson, both.
Grant, of course, great pitching coach here and still very much associated with the Pirates organization. There's a bouncer that'll go into center field. That'll play to run. So a base hit by McCutchen. He's got 2 hits on the night, and that plates the 3rd run for the Buccos.
I remember early in my career, as we see this ball, it's supposed to be inside. It ends up running back over the plate, and McCutchen just grounds it right back up the middle. Goose Gossage in for effect. I remember it all the time. You can't help it. In for effect. Get your outs away. In for effect. Get your outs away.
Especially late in the game.
Yeah.
You win games with that mentality.
You have to.
I mean, one of the greatest competitors ever was Bob Gibson, and he echoed the exact same philosophy.
Well, I can remember sitting in the food room when I played for the Cardinals, and he'd have all the pitchers around. I mean, you were like a sponge when he was around. And he said his thought process was, all right, fellas, you got to have one side of the plate. I prefer that you have the side of the plate, or you make the hitter aware of the side of the plate that he's batting on. So inside to lefties, inside to righties, you get your outs away. The explanation was different, but it was the same concept.
And you don't have to throw 95 to do that. Tom Browning pitched inside
all the time. And he got his outs with that changeup right on the outside corner.
This one blooped into right center field. That's going to drop for a hit. Another run is going to score. McCutcheon's rounding third. They're going to send him. And that's a 2-run double. So Aramis Ramirez collects his first 2 runs batted in of the night. That's 44 on the season, his second hit.
This one stayed up and away, and Ramirez just goes right with it.
14-5 the count now for the Reds. And here comes the shortstop Rodriguez for his second at bat. He bounced out first time up. All this after a harmless first 2 outs, and that's another base hit. And stopping it at third will be Ramirez. So it's first and third, still 2 outs. There were 2 quick outs, then a double, a hit batsman, a single, a double, and another single. And Jeff Pico's on his way out to the mound.
This is one of those conversations from Jeff Pico. I know you hit the guy, but you still have to use the inside part of the play. Don't just throw every pitch outside because you hit the guy earlier in the inning. There's that tendency, George, when you're winning by this margin for a pitcher on the team that's winning, to just throw away, and just try to get out. These are big league hitters. They are not going to feel sorry for you. They're going to try to get everything they can get.
Sampson and Diaz loosening in the Reds bullpen now as the 8th batter of the inning comes to the plate. Here's Chris Stewart up for the second time. Matthews from the stretch. And the other part of that equation that you talked about in San Francisco was your manager, Roger Craig, too. He changed the thinking. He and Al Rosen together changed the thinking. I mean, that's when everybody complained about being in Candlestick Park with the cold and the wind and everything else. And
Roger was a tremendous encourager. He was always positive. Matter of fact, our theme one year at the ballpark was "Hum Baby."
Yep.
And that was Roger's favorite saying, and it was all over the ballpark when he first got there. And it really just changed the culture because, like you said, it was cold, it was dreary, the wind was blowing, it was miserable. But what he wanted everyone to do on his club, the Giants, was to make it a positive and make the other team feel uncomfortable. Use it to your advantage.
And that changed the mentality of a franchise. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Stewart. Missing down and in. Will go full 3-2. Stewart knocked in a run with a sacrifice fly in the 6th inning, up for the second time in 2 innings. That's a call, strike 3, and they finally get the final out. But 8 come to the plate for the Buccos in the 7th inning. The Reds still lead at 14-5. Great American Ballpark this Saturday. See your Reds take on the Buccos for as low as $12, plus the first 25,000 fans in attendance receive a Devin Mesoraco bobblehead presented by St. Elizabeth Healthcare. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or reds.com/tickets. Smiling side of the scoreboard for the Reds tonight: 14 runs, 17 hits. The Pirates 5 runs, 9 hits, and an error. The pitching story of this one: for the Buccos, A.J. Burnett started, went 4 1/3, allowed 10 hits and 8 runs. 7 of them were earned. He threw 97 pitches in that 4 1/3 inning stint. Meanwhile, for the Reds, David Holmberg, his first start since last September for the Reds and Cowboy. He made his presence known, and as he did in September, he pitched very well.
I just think that outs are outs. However you get them, you don't always have to strike out every batter or overpower every batter. There are different types of pitchers that you have on your staff, and tonight Holmberg showed that. He got outs, 6 innings of 2-run baseball. I think the Cincinnati Reds would take that every time, and that's what we saw in the 5 appearances in September last year. He was very effective.
And add to it for David Holmberg, his first major league hit. Here's Jay Bruce. Bruce bounced out, sacrifice fly, knocked in the Reds' 4th run in the 3rd inning. Bounced out and then doubled in a pair of runs in the 5th. Been a long road back for number 32. At one point, his average right around the 200 mark. Now he steps in at 258. That's foul back and out of play. After Burnett, Guerra pitched an inning and a 1/3, allowed 7 hits and 6 runs. Bastardo came in to get the final out of the last inning, and he's back to work here in the 7th. Look out, right on the shoulder.
Like he tried to get that ball on the inside part of the plate. Got away from him.
So leadoff hitter out for the Reds here in the bottom of 7, and that'll bring up the shortstop Eugenio Suarez. Singled and then 3 straight strikeouts. Tomorrow we'll be on the air with the Reds live at 6:30. Michael Lorenzen will go for his 4th win against Jeff Lott, the lefty. On Saturday, another 6:30 Reds live start. The game will follow at 7:10. Raisel Iglesias against Garrett Cole. Boy, what a season he's put together. 14-4. Then on Sunday, Mike Leake is scheduled to go for his 10th win against Charlie Morton. Maybe. We're still closing in on the trading deadline of 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And don't forget, we'll recap all the deals of the day on Reds Live postgame. Three and 2. May have struck out 3 times tonight, Suarez, but his best contribution of this night, when this was still a ball game, it was 5-1, and the Buccos were threatening in the top of the 5th inning. Suarez started a 6-4-3 double play on a hard hit ball that he had to dig out of the dirt. That ended the inning, ended the Buccos' threat, and from there the Reds took charge. That's a walk, so a hit batter and a free pass, and that'll bring up the catcher Barnhart.
Yeah, not only did he have to dig that ball out of the dirt, he had to do it going into the shortstop hole. and was still able to get to the ball, make a strike throw to Phillips, and they turned the double play rather easily.
And that was with Marte running. So you look at the scoreboard and think it's been a cakewalk, but there was a moment where the Pirates were one swing away from getting back into this one. There's Barnhart. Popped up, grounded out, hit by a pitch, and bounced back to the pitcher. Hit on the button to center field, but over is McCutchen. He'll haul it in. Tag in at second, heading to third will be Bruce. So it's first and third for the Reds with one out. And here comes Schumacher hitting in the 8th spot.
Well, Barnhart tagged that ball. There's always a silver lining, George, when your team does not do well. You get to have an opportunity to look at some of your younger players, your guys that are prospects coming up, as the Reds have seen with some of their younger pitchers, and also with Tucker Barnhart. If not for the injury to Devin Mesoraco, we would not have seen Tucker Barnhart have this kind of offensive season, and it's been an awfully good one. Eugenio Suarez, same deal.
He's handled the pitching staff well. Came into tonight at 267. So he's handled and acquitted himself well with the bat as well. And of course, the bottom line hope is that, and Devin Mesoraco is very optimistic that he'll be back at 100% next year. They need that thump. Schumacher singled his first time up. Normally a reliable Pirate bullpen has given up 6 runs thus far tonight, and Bastardo here now 3-1. We started tonight, and you mentioned those players that get an opportunity like a Barnhart and a Suarez. We started tonight talking about the fact the Reds lead the major leagues with number of starts by rookie pitchers, and that's the other part of the equation as you look ahead towards next year. You needed to find out this year who could pitch at the major league level. Here's ball 4. So the bases are loaded for the Reds, and here comes Billy Hamilton.
And going to that, George, you can project, prospect, suspect, however you want to talk about guys coming through your system. But really, until it's trial by fire at this level, do you know how they're going to be able to handle it when they see the names on the back of the jerseys? They're playing with a third and a fourth deck. They're facing guys that they've been watching on TV since they were probably 15 years old. It's a whole different animal up here.
There's Billy, flied out, singled, stole 2 bases, reached on an error, knocked in a run, and singled to right.
So that's what Cal Ripken looks like. You know, I mean, that's what you think.
You're right. You're right. When you first came up, who was the hitter that you kind of shook your head a little bit when he stepped in against you?
Andre Dawson.
Yep.
Scary. He gave me a big old hug the other day when we were in Miami. He's still scary.
Popped up right side. Who's going to get there? Polanco will, and the runners will hold.
Dawson used to wear his helmet down real low, and when he'd look out to the mound, he looked like he was looking right through your heart. That's how he got the nickname Hawk, because that's what he looked like, the eyes of a hawk.
I remember you talk about great speeches at the Hall of Fame, and all the guys, all four of them had great speeches this year. But when I think back of being up there, Hawk had one of the best, and one of his lines was, "Love the game, and the game will love you back." And it's something that he always preached to young players. Here's Jason Bourgeois hitting in the pitcher spot for Matthews. Base is loaded, 2 away for the Reds here in the 7th. Most amazing part of Dawson's career, and I mean so many that you think about injuries that curtailed their career, but the pounding that he took in Montreal playing on that artificial surface, had he not been there, imagine the numbers he would have put up. Still pretty spectacular career.
Where I really gained a tremendous measure of respect for Andre Dawson is when he signed with the Chicago Cubs. He handed them a blank contract, and he said, "Just fill in the number that you want."
Dallas Green, the general manager.
I'm just going to play.
That was Dick Moss was his agent during that time, and he sat around all winter. In fact, showed up at spring training with a blank contract.
Just fill it in.
And what did he do? He was the most valuable player in the league.
Player in the league.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And another guy who, he's not in the Hall of Fame, but he's certainly, other than Rickey Henderson, maybe the best leadoff hitter of that generation was Tim Raines.
Yes.
And had it not been for Andre Dawson helping Tim Raines through very difficult times in his career, he never would have made it into his 3rd or 4th year as a major leaguer. Hawk took him under his wings.
To Montreal.
Runners going. That's ball 4, and that'll force in a run. 15-5 Cincinnati. Bourgeois takes the walk. And out comes Clint Hurdle on a night where he had hoped to minimize the use of his bullpen. He's going to have to go back to it again. And while the pitching change takes place, we'll take time out for these messages. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio.
Ohio. I'm Jim Day. Let's update you on some trades that have happened today. And there are some big names going elsewhere, including a 3-team, 13-player trade. This one's like an eye chart. Now, the names familiar to Reds fans would be Matt Latos going to the Dodgers from Miami, and also Bronson Arroyo, who was traded from Arizona to Atlanta, even though he's coming back from Tommy John surgery. So now he is a teammate once again with Matt Latos, and you see the rest of the deal there. But the big names of the day would be David Price going to Toronto. I'll tell you what, Toronto loading up with Troy Tulowitzki and now David Price, perhaps the biggest starting pitcher along with Cueto on the market. And also Cole Hamels going to the Rangers. Boys, Pirates finally get out of the 7th. Reds by 10.
Good numbers, JD. 15-5.
On Reds Live, the post-game edition, clubhouse reaction, and more. It's presented by Performance Kings Honda. We mentioned Cole Hamels to the Rangers, David Price to the Blue Jays to join Troy Tulowitzki there. And also, as we told you earlier in the game, it is Carlos Gomez going from the Brewers to the Astros. The Astros are one of the surprise teams of Major League Baseball, so they're loading up for a run. Also going with Mike Fiers for 4 minor leaguers. And we saw last night Matt Holliday getting hurt in St. Louis. The Cardinals went out and got Brandon Moss from the Indians. So that's another deal that happened today. And the Pirates are rumored to be closing in on a deal with the Tigers for the closer Soria. So we'll follow that as well. But as we go back upstairs, we got a Major League debut about to happen.
You're right, JD, and Cowboy, you remember this moment. Kavis Sampson, just brought up today from Louisville, will make his Major League debut at Louisville. 17 appearances and a 3-6 record. A little fluttering in the chest right now for this young man.
He throws hard, and we saw that in spring training. The key for Kavis Sampson is just harnessing that velocity.
Bouncer to the right side, hits the chalk line and bounces foul. Joey Votto tries to buy it out, doesn't do it, and we'll try it again. JD, we all had a chance to see Sampson down in spring training. He started the season down at Louisville after a little stint on the sidelines. It's good to see him back up here.
It is, and he opened the eyes of Brian Price. The manager was talking before the game, saying he's really excited to see Kavis because he went down there and worked with Ted Power and worked on made some mechanical adjustments and actually moved where he throws on the rubber, which has been working well. He says he's got a really nice repeated delivery. He's got fastball, curveball, and a change, and he's really worked on commanding the strike zone. So I saw a lot of improvement out of him at Louisville, and right now he was being a starter down there. Is going to be the long man here, but Brian Price is excited to see what he's got. And they're going to give him a chance, a legitimate chance to be a part of this pen the rest of the way.
Great job, JD, and thanks for running down the deals of the day, and a very busy night. Tomorrow may be more of the same as we head towards a 4 p.m. Friday deadline for the non-waiver trading period. You can still make trades after the end of July, but you have to pass players through waivers to make those deals. Here's Decker swinging and fouling this one off. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Sampson has a very smooth delivery. But I think the key with any young pitcher, you and I were discussing this earlier, you get signed and you get through the minor leagues because you have a plus fastball. But that changeup right there is why he's here today.
Sampson gets out number 1. Here's your changeup.
You see him turn over the changeup right as the ball's coming to the plate. The hitter sees it as a fastball, and yet when he makes contact, the ball's about shin high, down and away and running away, and you induce weak contact.
Here's Florimon, who came in for Walker, up for the 2nd time. He struck out first time up. Fifth pitcher to make his major league debut for the Reds during this 2015 season. Barnhart setting up inside. Little, not just lively arm, but a little movement there.
He's got some run to it. Depends on where he finishes.
Zip, zip, zip. First major league strikeout in this first inning of work. That'll put a smile on his face, and that'll be a baseball to save.
See, that's a instinct for Sampson. He knows, he can sense when he's got a guy overmatched. Well, he had Florimon overmatched there. He shook off, went right back to the fastball. You don't want to slow something down for a kid that can't hit the heater.
Here's Ishikawa, popped up his first at bat. Veteran first baseman outfielder, came up through the Giants organization. Smooth delivery, huh?
Yeah, the instinct for Sampson is to fall a little bit towards the first base side as he comes through his mechanical process to the plate. That drops his hand a little bit, and then he'll miss up and away. And I think that's the biggest adjustment that I've seen from spring training to right now. You saw the first 2 pitches to Ishikawa miss up and away. He made a little bit of a correction with the next fastball, threw a changeup there. Now he's right back in the count.
24-year-old from Florida set to deliver, and there's a lively giddy up on that one. What a debut for number 48. He'll get a nice welcome. Welcome to the majors, Davis. Has been brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And your local Toyota dealers, proud sponsor of the Cincinnati Reds. Well, a productive trip to St. Louis as the Reds won 2 out of 3 there with 2 great pitching performances to win games 2 and 3. And tonight the Reds have brought the heavy artillery with a 15-5 lead as we go to the Reds' 8th inning. Joey Votto will lead it off against Jeff Decker. Jeff Decker, age 25, native of Arizona.
He's an outfielder, folks.
Yep. He's paying the price for the 15-run eruption by the Reds. Joey tonight, they finally got him out in the 6th inning, and there's a line drive in the left. There's another base hit for Votto. Takes a big turn and will hold it first. So for Votto, 3 hits, 2 singles and a double, 2 walks, and a fly ball out to left. He just continues to be remarkable with the bat since the All-Star break.
How do you get on base 5 times in one game? 5 times.
For some people, that's a week.
And it's not like it's just happened tonight. I mean, he's doing this, pretty much on a regular basis.
9 times in that day-night doubleheader, 5 times today. And here's Marlin. If you joined us late, Bird's 3-run home run followed De Jesus and Votto singles in the first. The Reds had a 3-0 lead. They led it 4-1 when Bruce sacrifice fly chased home a run in the 3rd. Ballooned it to 5-1 on a base hit by Brandon Phillips in the 4th, and then Phillips took over in the 5th and 6th. 2 3-run home runs from Brandon, 7 runs batted in, and there's another base hit for Marlon Byrd down the 3rd base line into the corner. They'll hold Votto at 3rd, and it's a double for Marlon Byrd. So Byrd tonight, a single, a double, and a home run.
I think for any regular player, regular batter that comes to the plate and you're facing a position player instead of a pitcher that's on the mound, the last thing you want is for him to get you out.
Here's Jay. Bruce bounced out, sacrifice fly, plated a run, bounced out, doubled in a pair of runs in the 5th, and hit by a pitch last time up. There's a bouncer right back to the pitcher. And there's your first out of the inning. Now, you were a shortstop when you grew up. You didn't start pitching.
Correct.
When was the first time you actually started pitching?
I pitched when I was 12, a little bit, but mostly when I turned 14.
But you wanted to be a position player.
Oh, yeah. Well, I went to Mississippi State as a shortstop, not as a pitcher.
But you had that other guy in the bullpen there.
The problem playing shortstop at a major college is they threw sliders, and I did that saved my life.
Fly ball into right. Polanco under it. Votto bluffs going. Throw will come in, and there's your second out of the inning. Well, the goal of number 14 is to get through an inning without giving up a run. Threw away. Here's the catcher, Tucker Barnhart. Barnhart without a hit on this night. Hit by a pitch, grounded out twice, popped up twice.
When you see a lot of hitters way out in front because Decker's pitching under hitting speed.
There's a leaping catch by Florimon. So the Reds get 2 on, nothing to show for it. Last roundup time for the Buccos, who trail 15-5. the new ballpark by the river. The Reds 15 runs, 19 hits. The Pirates 5 runs, 9 hits, and an error. David Holmberg, story of this night. First, the pitching side of it, Cowboy. He made his presence known after pitching well in September. The first time Reds fans have had a chance to see him, and he acquitted himself well tonight.
Yeah, I thought he threw the ball very well. He had a lead early, settled down, continued to throw strikes. Hey, you keep the Pirates off the board the way he did, it's money in the bank.
And the other side of it, he got his first major league hit. So a pretty productive night for David Holmberg. Pedro Villarreal will take over. Holmberg started. Matthews pitched an inning. The major league debut of Kavis Sampson, the 2 strikeout inning for him. And here's Pedro to try to wrap it up in the 9th inning. He joined us late. The hitting Stars career high 7 runs batted in for Brandon Phillips. Four hits, including 2 3-run home runs and a base hit that knocked in a run as well. First pitch swing and popped up in foul territory. Barnhart squeezes it for out number 1. Polanco retired at the top of the order. Polanco tonight, a single and a double in 5 plate appearances. And here's Marte. In addition to the 7 runs batted in from Brandon, Marlon Byrd's 3-run homer got the Reds started in the first. And he ended up with a single, a double, and a homer on the day.
The Reds' first 3 positions in their order have been on base 15 times. Just the first 3.
Save a few of those for tomorrow.
That's what Michael Lorenzen might be thinking right now.
Michael Lorenzen against Jeff Locke tomorrow. Backhand, bobbled, the throw, not in time. That'll go as a base hit. Good effort by Ivan De Jesus to get a glove on it. And no way with the speedy Marte running, he's going to throw him out. So Marte has his second hit of the night. He stretched his hitting streak to 9. And here comes McCutchen. 2 hits, including a run scoring hit in the 7th inning. Popped to the right side and out of play. Tomorrow we'll get a look at Michael Lorenzen, who will try to win his 4th. He'll come in with a 3-5 record, an ERA of just under 5. And you mentioned creature of habit. There's Michael. He was the one who got up and started a long toss when Johnny Cueto was scheduled to pitch, and the Reds, the rumor mill had it that the deal might go through. There's a bloop into center field. That'll drop for a hit. So McCutchen has his 3rd hit of the night. It'll be 1st and 3rd with 1 out.
Yeah, I think that really affected Lorenzen the following day when he started. I think it was still on his mind. He and Johnny very close. And it was just, you know, when you're young and your mentor is being traded and you're the one you're throwing, and then everybody says, oh, well, he told him he was messing Johnny, and it didn't go down like that, but that's the way it was perceived. And I really think that it affected Lorenzen the following day.
Ramirez pops it up to the right side. Who's going to get there? Bruce in fair territory has it. And good job by Pedro. He's at first. Almost doubled up McCutchen. Here's your matchup for tomorrow. The Reds traditionally, Cowboy, have had trouble with lefties. They'll see one tomorrow.
Yeah, Jeff Locke is the master of the changeup.
The other side of that equation, the Reds would love to get a lefty regularly into their rotation, and the deal they made for Cueto brought 3 prospects for exactly that. 3 left-handed pitchers. Here's Sean Rodriguez, single his last time up.
And I think that's one of the reasons that this was a very important start for Holmberg here tonight. You got Brandon Finnegan and John Lamb both ready to pitch at this level. And Cody Reed not far behind. All left-handers and all starters.
No balls, 2 strikes. And in all probability, before the year is over, you'll see 2 or maybe all 3 of them up here just to get a peek at them. This staff hasn't seen them. The Red Scouts certainly have. Well, we'll let the fans tell you the story as the Reds try to close the door on a smiling scoreboard. Pedro will take it himself, and that'll do it. On a night where the Reds put 15 on the board, with Marlon Byrd starting it with a 3-run home run, and Brandon Phillips chipping in with another big night, and Joey Votto chipping in with, as usual, an on-base night for his own. The Reds win this one by a final of 15-5. More to talk about when we return after these messages.